like the SFs and the Drows that are the creme de la creme. They get picked every single game or banned every single game. And teams are like, so we see initially a Lina come out. I believe it was Yandex that ran it first, and we thought it was going to be mid, and then they flexed it to carry for Watson. And then Shiro does the same thing in his first playoff game, or first playoff series. And then people are like, wait, it's working as a carry. Why not we just also pick it as a mid? And then here we are talking about it being a first-round ban. I think the teams that are able to see those heroes played by one other team recognize the strength that it offered in the game and then apply it themselves. There's a reason that both these guys have made it here. Lina does end up getting banned, and because Lina has graduated to that number one ban or round one ban slot, suddenly we're seeing a lot more lone druids and such.
I mean, I might be biased, but I have to say that, you know, when I put my mind to these drafts and how the meta is developing, I am 100% in agreement with every Vici Gaming read so far, and I think this opener to me looks like it looks really good for them. I'll have to. Personally, I think they won with Laundry yesterday, but I don't think Laundry did anything. I mean, in a sense, I'm sure he would have carried the game, but the game was like pretty much done by the time he came online. Like Slark was dominating. Like Amar talked about the game yesterday, and he said, I don't think this Laundry or this Slark even did anything. We had a beast cuddle problem, and Laundry is a really slow hero. Like this hero starts playing when he gets Mjolnir Ags, and this is the beast answer. Like their take is basically, by the time you have these items, there's going to be a level 2 Dom Beast that would have taken all towers, taken Roche, taken Tormentor, and you're going to be playing from, you know, 10k lead behind with a first pick hero that will also be countered by our carry. So I very much love this approach. I personally think that this launcher hero is absolutely overrated and that it should not... I'm gonna, you know, take the gamble here that it's just gonna go away from being first faced in the next games and maybe even in the finals. So we'll have to see how they make it work and how they execute it. I think the call, the call got banned, so they're not gonna get their hands on Beast Cuddle. Obviously, the laning phase will be extremely tough for the Beastmaster. So let's see how Vici Gaming is able to maybe damage control this a little bit.
Yeah, I think Beastmaster is a very interesting hero conceptually because I agree with everything you said, by the way. And the hero's win rate is 42% for the event. And I think that's because the hero is so polarizing in terms of, does it get shut down in lane and just have virtually no impact? Or does it literally consume the entire map, taking every single objective, as you mentioned? And the teams that have utilized it to the best, I think there's a reason why it's such a scary pick. Despite its win rate not representing that. And I don't think every hero's win rate is indicative of its strength in the meta itself. And we've been seeing Helm Dom on every offlaner pretty much, maybe other than like Axe. We've been seeing it on Darkseer, we've been seeing it on Centaur. So it only makes sense that the Lycans, the Beastmasters, will come into play later on in this meta. It's easy to say that in hindsight 2020, but Wyvern, a common I'd say counterpick to both of these heroes, the Lone Druid for the percentage HP on the bear, but also the Beastmaster because you can actually kill him with his own summons.
It's a... Like, I like the Wyvern pick. I think we've seen it work pretty well against Lone Druid, even though it's not as good as what it used to be. And I mean, it's very good in the early game, stops being... You know, it's a little bit worse once Lone Druid plays with Ags, obviously, because there's no such thing as killing the main. But still, you're gonna love the Cold Embrace in a game like that. I also want to mention the Vici Gaming bans. I think they're very much on point. Like, Centaur is finally getting the respect the hero deserves, in my opinion. I'm surprised we haven't seen it first phase banned by teams. Everyone is dominating. Like, all the most successful teams are just crushing games with it. Like, you think of DM, you think of Miero. Like, they just pick this hero early, and it's always doing its job. It has incredible early game, great late game. Lina's out, as we mentioned. Kez, Kiritouch, he even said in an interview, it's my absolute signature hero, so whenever I play it, I feel like I'm just going to win the game. So very well-targeted bans from both teams, in my opinion. So they're kind of forcing each other's into like the second plan, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I disagree with everything you said. Like, the read from Vici has consistently impressed me during these playoff stages. They made such a significant adjustment going from the group stage. I just can't overstate that enough. I'll happily be a broken record on that one. You know, for me, Wyvern is... I feel like she's kind of in the category of Witch Doctor, where she's meant to give you a little bit of sustain in lane. She's meant to provide you with some sort of damage output that helps you take down these really high HP heroes. And then on the other side of things, she's a little bit less aggressive, more on the counter initiation side of those things. But then people have been diving deep into the ranged carry hero pool. Klinx is a hero we've seen a few times throughout the course of this tournament. And what I like about this specific pick here is he's one of the few ranged heroes in the entire pool that have like a attack speed steroid that would help him kill the tombstone. With Undying, you usually want to play like a non-heads-up game, right? You don't want to just fight into them head, like straight on. You want to split them up. You want to flank them and burst them down. And Klinks is perfect for doing that because he's going to save the guy in front.
Yeah, and BKB at times. So I really like this like overwhelming amount of physical damage approach, where it's like you just kill this hero. Like you don't let him basically break your formation by just being there and running at you, spamming DKs. I think you just have to burst the hero down. It's not that tanky. Like it's deceptively tanky. Undying has a really bad strength gain actually. And even when they're like high level 15 or something, running around with Blink BKB, they're under 2k HP, which is very little for strength heroes. So good approach in my opinion. I like the Klinks pickup. They go for the GPK puck. It's a very strong pick. It didn't. Like, funny enough, it's kind of slow, right? We criticized Puck for being a slow hero and saying that, yeah, we saw Lorenov yesterday, one of the best Puck players also out there, and he was like struggling to really enter the game, and by the time he did, the game was kind of over. I'm just a little bit worried for BB team because they have exceptionally good lanes, that is true, but they have Laundred Puck, which I think are two of the slowest cores in the meta right now. And maybe that plays a little bit in Vici Gaming's plan of like delaying the game. You know, we heard their interview, like they're saying that they know that the early game might be a little bit tough for them, but if they weather the storm, they feel confident.
Now, you were talking about preparation coming into this series. I agree with everything you said about the slowness of their lineup. I think XM is historically one of the most counter-picky mids players that we've seen, and we saw his Slark versus the Ember Spirit yesterday. I know I wasn't in the game, but I respectfully disagree with MR on the Slark's impact. I think he literally removed Malrine from the game, and I think a lot of times the mid laner rotating on the Beast is the one that's meant to slow him down. So I think the pick for XM is not only does it take out the puck, but does it enable the Beastmaster, who's already in a bit of a tough lane against the Lone Druid.
Very tough lane.
I guess I was underselling that one. But what I was looking through is that Vici Gaming haven't been in a draft yet where XM has been against puck with the counter pick. So Sniper is always the historic one, which they did take out in the first round, but I'm wondering, have they been cooking something? Are we going to see the Slardar? I'm almost surprised it's not banned. Maybe that's a bit of disrespect to XM as a player, because they used it against yesterday.
Yeah, and it actually is very good against the other heroes. Like, really like the Slardar idea. It's amazing versus Laundred. It makes actually the bear like killable at any point. Like it now turns any kind of duo of hero as like bear killers, which can be a problem. Same, you know, I mentioned how you need to be able to kill this Undying before he gets like armor items, and even then I think Slardar will kill heroes through armor items. Like it's just an overwhelming amount of damage and synergizes greatly with their heroes. So we'll have to see. A hero that I'm wondering could come is Necro. I don't know if it's an XM hero, but we've seen Nigma utilize it against Puck, against Ember, against Earthspirit, and they just dumpster the mid matchup. Necro is very good against Undying, very good against Lone Druid. This is a hero that could, I think, damage control the early game and help Vici Gaming kind of group around him. This will turn their lineup into like a push lineup, and especially with the help of Wyvern and Tusk, it's going to be just really hard to take him down, because they, as BSJ mentioned, they removed a lot of the counters to Puck, right? There's no, okay, they even steal the stutters. That's probably why they actually let it through the pool. So good of them to get that planned out. It's not the easiest lane, I have to say, though, versus Klinks and Wyvern. But again, it's what we said. Both off-laners are just going to their fate, their destiny, which is, you know, struggle in lane, buy regen, and hope for the best.
I'm leaning even more so towards the Necro. They've only played it once on Vici this tournament. It was for Shiro, so they, you know, XM, he has proven though that he can just whip something out of his pocket that he hasn't played in some time and absolutely demolished with it. Slardar is not only a good block pick because it would have been good for Vici, but it's also insanely good against Klinks later on in the game with the, you know, a lot of times, even if you have Dust, Klinks is just so fast at getting away. Slardar can blink, stun you with the Crush in the Shard, which automatically reveals you and will represent the burst. This game is going to be so much about who has the vision, who initiates on who, because both teams have so much burst and so much like just, I'd say only need 1 or 2 items on every core before they're almost fully activated. So when I look at this pick for XM, yeah, I'm really liking Necro. I don't know what else there is that functions well in the game for Slardar and Puck.
As you said, like shutting down this on the lane, it fits XM style, and I think it makes a lot of sense this game in particular. Because honestly, like Slardar's the game, and Roger is just slow by nature. Like he wants to farm for at least 20 minutes. it's a really good puck game. Like they have no stuns. Like it's basically Tusk and Beastmaster. Like it's very easy for GPK to play around that. He's even gonna have the save of Undying at some point. Like this puck is just not gonna die. So if the Necro comes up, I think it's a very good answer. Honestly, like, if he executes the lane properly, as we've seen Larnov do, then the puck is gonna be shut down, and like BB might end up having 3 cores that need some time to farm. And again, we've seen what these Beastmasters do. Is like Puck is not going to be able to invade the Beast Triangle if he's shut down. And as soon as Beast hits his timing, which he'll be stacking with boards, he will sack the lane completely. They're going to pull some waves. And as soon as he gets the Helm of Doom 2, they're going to run around together and take over the game. And hopefully try to punish BB at their own game, which is like, playing fast and assertive dominance in the early game.
I think both these teams have a fantastic read on the meta. I agree conceptually with virtually every pick in these drafts. And quite frankly, I don't know who's going to come out on top because both teams made slight tweaks and adjustments to their strategy while also kind of maintaining their identity of the heroes that have worked for them, like the Beastmaster, as well as the Slardar on the side of BB team. So I'm just excited because this is the point where both teams have a clear idea, clear-cut plan. I like both of them, and we're just going to have to see who triumphs.
Is Necrophos a hero that can set a little bit of a tempo from the mid lane, or is that not needed?
He's more of a tempo setter in the sense that he's like a vacuum of attention, where he puts a lot of pressure on the enemy mid and requires the supports to come there.
Exactly. Like he's just gonna like basically apply pressure and absorb pressure, like because they're gonna have to answer him being on GPK's hill, pushing the wave constantly, fighting for the runes. Puck's gonna be starving. In that sense, he's not going to be making plays, but he's going to force BB team to look at him, which essentially is the same result.
How free are Xingqiu and Save in making those moves towards the mid lane to help out their mid laner if needed?
I would say they're both pretty busy with their offlaner.
I agree.
Help their offlaner just stay mentally stable. They both will have a really rough time on their lane.
I do think it's important to note that earlier in the tournament, Shiro was playing a lane that was favored, and he had one mistake early where he died, and it ended up going heavily in favor of the other team and actually lost them the game. So that's just something I have to believe is on his mind a little bit, and if something like that were to happen on either side, it could absolutely blow the game wide open.
Oh yeah, this is something, yeah, exactly. Like, I think this is something that both teams can't afford. Like, you need the winning lanes to be winning, because at this point, the whole draft, as we said, it makes a lot of sense. It's very well thought through, but it's also based on theory, which is what is supposed to happen. And if the theory is just like thrown out of the window because of individual mistakes or mixed executions on lane, this is when it gets really tricky.
So for us as viewers, we want the laning stage to be even, because then the mid game can get crazy. Is that fair?
I think what we want to look out for is which lane is indicating a snowball.
Yeah.
One way or because there's going to be a lot of them. Not just the Tusk lane, but all the other lanes are also going to snowball. And whatever lane does snowball, let's pay attention to how does the support then rotate? How does the mid then rotate? Like that lane's going to bleed into the others very quickly.
A lot of weight on Xingqiu's shoulder, I think, in his early game decisions and rotations.
We are looking at a very fun first game to open up this series. Made extra fun with Sunspot and Kezu.
Thank you. Vici Gaming versus BB Team best of 3 semifinals. Winner, this goes to the grand finals. Loser is not actually eliminated for once.
True.
They go into the 3rd place matchup tomorrow. Your thoughts on this general matchup between these two teams? I think BB Team overall have been more consistent, but Vici have really been rising up in the last few series.
Yeah, I would say perhaps for a lot of people, it's a bit unexpected to see Vici here. I think like the growth that they've shown here has been kind of insane. You know, knocking out 1W, knocking out Falcons as well in the prior round. I don't really know if I have a favorite, but when it comes to like a Chinese team's performance, this is the most impressed I've been since the TI finals of last year.
All right, well, they're peaking at the right time, that's for sure. As we're going to see a crush from Miero onto Y. Gets off the snowball, but he's just going to connect with Miero, and he's just outnumbered. So this should be first blood going the way of BB Team. And they'll go to save on the Hoodwink.
Yeah, and when you get to this stage of a tournament, giving first blood or any gold injection can make a huge difference on any of these players. I'm a little interested or like surprised perhaps that they're putting the Winter Wyvern into the offlane. Of course, you know, Arctic Burn is very, very good against the Undying and against the Lone Druid in the top lane. But it also means you don't have like a Cold Embrace in the safe lane against the Slardar and the Hoodwink combo. So we'll have to see how the lanes go.
How's this matchup? XM playing the Necrophos against GPK on his Puck, one of his best heroes.
Yep.
Maybe his second best after Storm, I would say.
I would maybe even put like his Puck as #1. I think this is like his absolute signature. This is a Necro favorite matchup, and it can go from bad to worse really quick, as Necro's a type of hero, if he gets an early advantage, he can sit on your hill, permanently hit you, out-regen you, because he just wins with the sustaining overall.
And looking at the rest of BB Team's lineup, Lone Druid, which has been a hit or a miss in basically every game until yesterday. Yeah, actually mostly a miss until yesterday, where we saw the bear kind of appear in the mid game.
Anh này level 3 lâu giờ.
Actually carried him.
Trời nó cũ.
Is that the requirement?
Anh là thằng này em mà. Ông cả tài sản này. Cái này nè cá chịu.
Damage control, I think you're happy. If your team is winning, they're like giga overperforming.
Yeah. We'll see how he ends up shaping
Lùi
the
làm thế này.
Lone Druid this game, as we see the Undying on Kataomi. We talked about the Hoodwink already, and then the offlane Miero on Slardar, which in combination with Lone Druid in the mid to late game, going to be pretty fearsome combo overall.
No, it's very, very good. And they talked about it on the panel too, right? Puck, overall, while it is one of GPK's best heroes, the hero hasn't looked phenomenal. You know, it's one of the few tournaments where the win rate isn't that good. You're starting to run into damage problems. But they have a lot of damage amplification, right? You have the Boomerang later, you have the Flesh Golem damage amp, and also the Corrosive Haze. And you can see that, at least for now, GPK is doing a very good job at this early game.
Yeah, basically an even start for the Puck v Necrophos matchup. It's going to be both sides getting the water runes as well. In terms of rotations in the mid lane, which team do you think has the advantage with not only the supports that can come and potentially get a kill, but also being able to leave their offlaner or whatever other lane, even the safe lane as well.
I would say like both Tusk and Hoodwink really like leaving their lanes. I'm not sure if we'll see that much from both Jinkyu and Kataomi playing the Winter Wyvern and the Zombie, as they're a little bit more slow. But overall, like the other annoying thing for the Necro, or for Puck against the Necro in this matchup, is that by the time you have Coil, usually Necro is like nearly full HP, he's got like a 20 wand ready, he's got maybe even a Raindrop, a Fluffy Hat, so it's very difficult to move to this.
And we see a little bit of action here from Barbecue Brisket team, as you can see Boss getting pushed out just a bit playing the Beastmaster, which has been an extremely consistent offlaner. It feels like any offlaner that buys Helm of the Dom becomes just that.
Yeah, and he
his
performance was crazy. He was very, very pressured in the game as well. And honestly, while this early laning stage is not that easy for the Beast, I think Beast scales quite well throughout this lane. Like once you get level 2 boars, maybe level 3, you deal a lot of damage to the bear. Also Undying he likes playing against Beast early on, but not later. All the summons are very annoying. It's very hard to run into this hero.
How good would you say Wyvern is against the bear later in the game, especially if you're linked up?
Very good. I think Wyvern has to be like one of the worst support matchups. You're one of the supports, you have Cold Embrace, first of all. Obviously, that's a full nullification of any damage you have on Lone Druid. And the Curse as well is incredibly good, as is Arctic Burn. Like, the bear hates when there's random stuff that's slowing you, that's stunning you, that's making it difficult for you to walk in. So I'm expecting Jinkyu to have very good impact, which he always does.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Whether it's killing couriers or heroes, he'll do something in the game usually. One of the more... It's weird to call him underrated, but he keeps finding himself on new teams. I mean, I guess that's just the Chinese scene in general.
No, but this guy is very good. Like, whatever team he joins, they play incredibly well, right? Like, VT were fine, but then they get XM, they get Jinkyu, and I feel like they're finally starting to really flourish with like what they're showing us with the performance.
Yeah, for sure, which begs the question, why are they free agents to begin with?
Yep. Shout out to XG.
Maybe he doesn't wash his face enough, I suppose. That's definitely a possibility.
From the great
Day8. And as Kiritich right now sitting on the pretty good CS, 28-4 versus the 22-3 of Shiro's Clinks, which I have yet to mention in this game. How good a Clinks game is it?
It's a good Clinks game. I wouldn't, like, it's not free by any means, as they should potentially get a kill on the Billy the Boar. No, it's gonna get denied. Very nicely done by Jinkyu. Clinks game, it's good. You're laning with a Tusk, so you're quite happy. The problem is, like, Slardar is very annoying for you. Like, later on in the game, of course, the Corrosive Haze is not something you love playing into. But other than that, you have quite good Roach capability. You have nice team fighting with the Beast. But I have to point out, GPK is overperforming in this mid lane. This is not the expected outcome. You have to definitely overperform.
Yep, as Bach gets taken out, blocked in there as the rotation from BB team comes to fruition. A good kill again for them. 2-0 start, 1K lead.
Yep. And this has to be the move. Like, when you play against teams, the 5-minute move with a post-4 can TP into the safe lane, you get a potential kill, it's nighttime. You link up together and you can go to the rune now at the 6-minute mark. And I am surprised that they can actually play through this mid lane very nicely, I would say, with GPK. Full HP, full resources, Raindrop, Fairy Fire, Coil to boot.
It's going to be a fight for this rune if it ends up spawning bottom. It's going to see Miero get a
Ai,
crush
tại
on
bữa
the
giờ
bot
Tuấn Nia là
side,
khuê
connecting
phiền
with Y. And he will back away as the rune is still top, I do believe. And it'll be a haste for GPK. So first power rune going the way of Backstreet Boys team.
Let's see if the Boom Squad can make use of this haste rune, because while Necro is very
mà
good
Ring
and
em
he
mua
can
được
be
quả nó
static,
Isan
right,
này
in the
nè.
mid lane, he's not that good at like responding to side lanes. He's very
Chỉ
slow
nãy giờ là
early
gọi
on
là
until you have
cái này
travels,
luôn luôn nha
when
đâu.
you don't really want to move like so much around on the map. And with a haste rune on Mr. GPK, of course, you can look for some openings.
Still many members up here for BB team.
And they might bring GPK over to this Wisdom Shrine, right? Minute 7, you've got the haste rune as well.
Ông mà đáy khen đi em dễ đáy khen đi em.
Onto Y is a TP. Nice shard.
Super chan này,
Blocking
super
him
chan
in.
này.
Reinforcements
Con
have
tìm
arrived
đồ.
as Jin-Q getting gone on now by GPK, and Miero is going to ensure the kill. Although has to be a bit careful. Gets off the crush, and the inevitable kill onto Jin-Q comes to fruition. Cat, tell me, we've seen this not too long ago. The Undying is very good in these
Này lâu thì
engagements.
nó
That
Isan.
Tombstone is the Reaper sight will bring the Undying to his grave. The axe is coming out.
Isan mà này lâu thì nè, giờ ra nêu cái gì?
The snowball's going to save him for the time being.
Rồi
Into
ra
the
rồi.
Druid.
Ra rồi con hoa bị. Đến đi bên đùa đây.
But he gets axed in the end. And after all of that, Bach retains. Yeah, they still have to kill these pesky zombies. No vision on the tombstone overall.
Very, very clutch. Yeah, honestly, by nearly everyone involved.
Đánh sau bị là rồi.
That Snowball X definitely dies way earlier to Kiritich in that rotation. But GPK, top of the net worth, as is Kiritich on the Lone Druid. You know, the Lone Druid is maybe a bit more expected. But the fact that B Square team here has a top net worth puck at this stage against the Necro, that is not normal.
You say the
Winda này tòa rồi mua mà đấy. Mà đi luôn cứ bao giờ lại
the one yesterday where they
đây giờ
won.
ba lúc bị lùi mèo.
It's been bottom net worth the entire game
Tổng
until like maybe 40 minutes.
Giờ là phí mà đấy.
Okay.
I think I've been very impressed with Kiritich, who, you know, when you talk about the experience-wise, you know, for BB team, honestly, he's the least experienced. All the other people have played multiple TIs, have done very well, at like all the EWCs.
Yeah.
But Kiritich, he's been really, really stepping it up.
Yep, as GPK will find himself a couple of bounty runes, not too shabby. Has the damage rune still bottled. As we'll see what UC gets out of that. And XM, no big surprise. Although maybe it is a surprise. You typically go the Boots of Travel before the Radiance in the mid lane.
Like if you have an ultra free game, you can go Radiance. It is like quite slow, but I like the travels. I think it's one of the ways you can more easily move around the side lanes. Also, you have an offlane Beastmaster. He's gonna have Dominator eventually. So anytime there's a roar, you travel on top, drop the scythe, take someone out of the game.
Well, Banana Boat team with a little bit of a lead in this early stage of the game. When it comes to the mid game, I would assume BB team have the advantage with Roche, mainly because of the Bear, Corrosive Haze, and Tombstone, I suppose.
Like, while so it's definitely a lot easier for them to take Roche, but VG are also not that bad when it comes to like fighting it.
Yeah.
Sure, like maybe the pit into the Tombstone isn't super easy, but you have Winter's Curse against a lot of these heroes. It is very good, right? Corrosive Haze, the Bear. And this is what we saw them do yesterday. Stack up the triangle. You know, even though Bach maybe doesn't have the best early laning stage, he can just fully recover with the max access.
And GPK still not opting to use this damage rune quite yet. It's going to end up popping on its own accord here pretty soon.
It's very nice if you can hold these runes like as long as possible. Like a lot of the things in Dota, it's not just about using it, but more like the threat of it. Oh, he's got a haste rune, we can't make any moves. He's got the amplified damage rune because now he still has it for the 10-minute rune fight that's coming up.
That's true. Pressuring this tier 1 tower now.
Ra bạn làm đi đấy,
see where this next rune pops it in. Like an arcane and damage rune combined, which it'll end up being the bot side, just a regen for Miero.
Nice cover from him. Can hold this for GPK. And these, you know, the chip damage on towers like this, it matters a lot. You have Lone Druid in the top lane, slowly pressuring. GPK got the mid tower to 30% now. There's a 10-minute siege creep. You know, suddenly, instead of being like, oh, we can't take the mid tower, you could actually bring some heroes and potentially commit to it.
Able to do anything with this rune advantage at this early stage, but so far, kind of what we've been seeing across the board in these games is just the content to farm in this early stage. Not a ton of action.
As you say that, they are going for a smoke.
Okay.
Into the triangle. So looking at, Bach potentially finding him. At the same time, of course, you see Heritage pushing in the top tier 1 tower. There's the courier. They will not start attacking it. Let's see if they break.
Heading to the north. This will just be pressure for the tier 1. GPK can find a potential opening here on an actual hero kill.
And you can see that even though the smoke, technically, it doesn't land. There's a lot of pressure that's currently being put onto Vici. This top tier 1 is dying. They're looking for a play down here onto Miero.
Ball onto Miero. Just a little bit of chip damage. Can't really threaten his life at the moment. As Kataomi puts down the tombstone to ensure that this tier 1 tower will go the way of BB team.
Very good early game. I expected Vici to have a little bit of a lead here. Shiro taking quite a bit of early pressure.
That's a long ass
the
corrosive haze, and he just gets demolished.
The
coil now expanded. A double kill onto GPK. Very nice turnaround here as XM being pressured now. From the south, that's going to be a 3-for-0 as BB team will likely get the tier 1 tower as well.
Yeah, BB team are kind of owning when it comes to some of their early rotations. When we're looking at this early game, smoking up top, some pressure, pushing mid at the same time. Wasn't available to come out in this fight, only just got this level 6 not that long ago. And the 3K lead this early on. And we talked about it before, sure, Puck in some games doesn't really pop off, but first of all, it's GPK Puck. He won a matchup that he shouldn't, and he's got a lot of backup.
Yeah, definitely being more aggressive now. As like you said, the lead is continuing to extend. And this is where it gets a bit scary, because if you're doing this against a lone druid who's not really participating too much at the moment, that's obviously going to change once he can separate himself from the bear with that Aghanim Scepter, which I assume will come after the Mjolnir. Yeah. Looks like that is in the quick buy.
They did force a true form out of Heritage by fake pumping the roar there earlier on block. So maybe there's a world where you have a window, to find a small potentially onto the big bad bear. But at the same time already GPK, he's got different ideas.
He's coming in. They want Bach. Illusory Orb's going to hit. They get the Waning Rift as well to the coil. Is there any follow-up, though? The Barrack finally comes out as they get the not the greatest layering. With that, Vici has to run away. Q likely to be the sacrifice. Definitely not what the doctor ordered.
In
the mid lane. Wow. Blink reveal from Miero.
Okay.
And this is another, a great feature of when a team is in the zone. You can make multiple plays at the same time very clearly. They attack top with 2, and in the meantime, Miero they're not looking there. They know the job top is just 2. So they keep going to the mid lane, and now 40-minute Wisdom Shrine, 15 seconds here.
Banana Boat team really doing a good job here in the early game. And it's going to be pretty tough for Vici to get their own Wisdom Shrine, like you said. Got all these creeps now pushed up. And Save just waiting it out, and looks like it'll be a freebie for him.
Also how Dota works is that if some things don't go according to plan, you would expect BB team to be the team that has to play slightly more defensive. They're behind, but they're going to just reverse Udo with this GPK early game performance where now it's Vici Gaming. They have to wait. They have to wait for the Helm of the Overlord. They have to wait for the Radiance on XM. Even Shiro on the Klings, he's no Deso yet, he's working on it. He feels like he has to play more around the map.
XM did change his mind, by the way. It will be the Radiance first.
Yeah, because at this point, I like it. Like, when you're down 4K gold, you're never going to use these tools travel aggressively. Might as well go for the more scaly item, try to speed up your game as much as you can.
All right, from Vici's perspective, when is the time that they can actually start fighting?
This is one of the problems for them. They don't have any clear catch. Like, the way Beastmaster likes to play is that he wants to own areas. He wants to take the enemy safe lane tier 1, play in their jungle, move into the mid lane. And honestly, it's a bit similar for Necro. He's not good at walking somewhere and just, starting a fight.
It'll be a very juicy kill before he can get this Radiance. It's not that far away, but get the stun coming out from the Tusk.
Low.
As Illusory Orb attempted TP. Big getaway there for XM. That would have been quite crippling. Not too far in the future.
Very, very needed survival there for XM. And yeah, just to talk about when they can fight, it depends a little bit more. I think when BB team overplay. I think until then, Vici are very happy if the game like kind of scales and slows down. You can see that Jinkyu going for max out Splinter Blast, and I get it. You want to slow down their push, get some couple items, and I like the stuff he has queued up. You know, sometimes you can say, oh, Jinkyu, he's so greedy, but an Orchid in this game can be a huge difference maker, especially against the GPK puck.
Yeah,
you don't want to allow these idiot puck guys when they have top net worth to just be like, woohoo, I go Witchblade, I go Blink, I go Parasma, and just go full out aggression.
I mean, he is buying a Yule's next though.
Yeah,
already
he gets it.
GPK. We see the replay here, XM just barely getting out.
Of course, it was.
Waiting for that corruption. That's all he needed, apparently.
It was very good
Ai
cover,
sẽ
of
còn
course,
nó
by
sẽ ra đâu
Warren,
đúng không? Ví dụ
initially
ở
tanking the sharpshooter and coming in with the overall saves to get XM out. You can see them here. They're in good spirits. They understand, you know, Necro still can have a very good mid to late game.
Bach, already Corrosive Haze applies. We'll use the Roar, but he's completely outnumbered. And a Tombstone is placed as the reinforcements finally arrive. They're going to get the push.
Con này.
Well, they do get the kill. Turn around onto
Ê, con này, anh ấy lừa sẽ thật.
To the sharpshooter. And now the curse coming out. A lot of damage applied to Miero. Not quite enough for the kill. Coil's not going to connect as GPK looking to finish the job. As
Sí,
Sage
claro,
just
mira
racking up
aquí
the
de
kills
ahí.
apparently on his hoodwink. Double kill for him. Ends up being a 3-for-0. Very close, Vici turning that around, but in the end, they lose everybody that came.
Remember the Shikuran she had, what the heck?
I mean, that was minute 16, and it's Avesta against
Cái
Winter
con
Wyvern
Retribution
and
mà đi
Necro,
con
which
nghe năm bà
absolutely
đấy.
hurts. Later, he can also go for the shard, right? You buff up a little bit more spell amplification into your entire draft. So Vici, while I do like, you know, some of the heroes that they have, didn't even mention, I love Necro and Winter Wyvern together. Maybe later when there's a nullifier, you can use a ghost shot suddenly. There's a ghost, like a cold embrace to help you out. But when you're playing into this type of deficit, a lot of things become a lot more difficult.
Yeah, and how fast can basketball team actually go for Roche, do you think?
I think they can dunk Roche
Ê,
real
cũng
quick.
mà đi à, ấy vừa bút bài này để còn anh ấy à, nào lui à nó.
Like Roche takers outside of your carry position.
Anh ấy à,
You
trốn
can have
lui.
Tombstone, you've got the damage amp.
Tombstone này thế lại lui áo rồi.
Luckily for Vici, the golem is on cooldown here for Kateomi.
And Shiro will show himself, just a newly picked up Desolator, but like we can see on the other side, Roche will be cleanly taken by BB Team.
And I like this too, from GPK. You know, it's about some of the small things. You know that there's a very small chance Vici contests this Roche. Even if they do, you can just TP like GPK is doing, as they want to hand him the Aegis. But in the meantime, he was defending the top tier 1 tower. Safe.
Bushwhack into the dust.
Đi ra, chúng ta khởi đi ra hoa không? À phiêu à.
No time to do anything for Shiro. And Bowling Ball team are really snowballing this. With an 8K lead now, Aegis still intact, obviously, and they can just push down any lane they want.
I mean, honestly, these guys are just striking everywhere on the entire map. You can also see how fast they're playing. Like BB team, full confidence, very little pressure on them. As they are TPing up top, they have a very nice lane ward where Safe is also spotting
Ok,
up.
Young Tuế ra mà.
Opening, gets the Corrosive Haze into the crush, though.
Tuế li.
Save Bach for a little bit, but the Bushwhack onto 2 with the coil to follow. Just way too much
Si gạt
damage
đồ
for
lúc
BB
này ra.
team.
Si
Not
nhẹ
even
phu à nó.
close. And this is going to approach the 10K lead mark, or 10K net worth lead at this stage of the, I mean, it's 19 minutes in. This is absurd levels of play from BB Team.
These guys
Ủa
are
chị,
zoning like
vì
pretty
gì đâu ba
hard.
luôn mèo
You know,
tuy là
first
gì
GPK
tuy là
defends
gì
top
luôn.
as they take Roche safe in the meantime while Roche dies, sets up the mid play. Immediately after the mid play, he TPs top towards the lane ward. You can just tell they have a very nice read and grasp on the map currently, trying to push back everyone.
Not too long away, we're going to see that Tormentor taken out. And of course, with the Corrosive Haze, it's going to be easy pickings for BB Team.
Slaughter just, it's another benefit of this hero. Like, you're not just, you own a lot of heroes because armor is, obviously you can buy
This
bonus
don't
ores,
do
but
it
takes a while, but you're
chuẩn
so good at both Roche and Tormentor. Probably the best hero at amplifying it.
It just feels like Shiro just finding scraps across the map. It feels like that's the case for every core on Vici's side, as the top 3 net worths in the game are all cores from BB Team.
And we've seen more and more shards on the Undying, especially Kateomi.
Bác của bà bị thả
I
nó.
love it, yeah.
And he's been buying it in
He's
any
got-
game,
I don't-
but
bác à.
especially in this one.
Ui,
There's a
ngầu
Scythe,
dữ.
there's a Roar, Winter's Curse, everything. Like, they already have so many good things available. And with the 2 shards that they bought, you know, that means one of the cores could even get a shard for themselves.
Or just the Boomerang, which it will be.
They will be quite happy about that. You have physical damage amp, you have magic damage amp, you have overall
ကဲ
damage
ပေါ်လ
amp
မ်း
from
ဖွင့်
the
တဲ့ကောင်နေတာဝါတော့ရသွားပြီ
Did lose their top tier
ဒါပေမဲ့
1 tower.
ထပ်တိုးလာလို့မရဘူးကောင်နေလိုက်
But
ပိတ်တာ
it is like this is not how you want to
တိုး
play.
လာရ
Neko.
လင်း
Neko he wants
အဲ့
to
လိုကြီးစမုတ်ကြီးနဲ့ပြန်လိုက်ပိတ်တာ
entire wave with Radiance travels. He doesn't even have boots of travel as he had to deviate his item build.
Kiritich has got his bear now. His baseball team ready to push even more. And Aegis online for another 2.5. No rush.
21 နေလည်းပေးရပြီ
No,
Cham
absolutely
la, cham
not,
la.
because now,
Gonna wait
like
for
you
this
said,
wisdom shrine again.
အဲ့တော့ချကျင်နေပုံပဲ
has got the Ags available on the lone, so Kiritich can just take the bottom shrine.
Pushback. They actually find a connection onto XM. Just creating a little bit of space that they can steal this.
အာရရရရ
Oh my god! The burst damage is absurd. The coil still expended onto the Beastmaster.
အာပတ်လျှော်ပြီပတ်လျှော်ပြီအာမလျှော်ဘူးရအောင်အေးတွန်းစုံနဲ့ထည့်ပြီးလိုက်တယ်ပြီးသွားပြီပေါ့အမှ3နဲ့ space နဲ့နဲတာမဟုတ်
Just looking not remotely close. Double kill for GPK. Looking for
ဘူး
Shion
ဆက်တယ်ရအောင်အေးလုံးတဲ့လုံးချက်တွေရနော်ကွက်စီလုံးအားကြီးတယ်
able
ပတ်
to get
ပုံး
away at this point. And GPK picking up his shard in base.
He just picked up a 21-minute shard at the enemy fountain. This game, like, without throwing any shade, it looks like they're kind of smurfing on Vici Gaming. And this is not an easy thing to replicate by any means. BB team they're just owning everywhere. Like, look at this kill on XM. It's basically, it's save and coil. That's it.
Sharpshooter into Crush. Boom. Or GPK actually getting that one.
magic resistance မပါသေး
This
ဘူး
was a good
သူရလဲ
connection
အဲ့လောက်
though.
မှ
The
များသေးဘူး
burst
ဖြစ်
into
နေ
the
တယ်ကိုက
eventual roar. Great layering, but you see the soul rip, the tombstone, just too much.
They need this Orchid on Jinkyu. It is one of the small ways you can potentially come back. Right? You can maybe force out a defensive fuels and like snowball through, catch him on the way down, or maybe you can Orchid the Undying while the fight is going, because then actually you would get a kill. But yeah, Habibi squad, they are demolishing them in this game.
Yeah, for sure.
easy GG ပါ
There's Kiritich. He's starting
Okay.
to wake up because
Yan
he's
luego
got
allí,
Scepter,
¿no?
so his bear can do his work.
ဒီကောင်လေးတက်လာရင်တော့
They're
ဒီကောင်
looking
လေး
for a random
ပတ်ပုံး
crush.
အဲ့လောက်မလွယ်
Trying
လောက်
to
ဘူး
find
လား
a connection, but they do find the coil onto Y. As Kataomi is there, Bushwhack actually hits from safe. He has been all over the place. My #1 support, by the way. Just saying.
I'm with you. This
Owning it
guy's
up.
good.
Well, you were disagreeing with me yesterday.
I don't on save.
Yeah.
He's 8-0, and I love this guy. He's like one of the best players in
We
the
had a
world.
literal argument on stream.
No, you said best. I said it's like top 3.
Yeah, I think he's the
စိတ်
best.
ကတအားလောက်တာ
Let's see. Let him talk today and
Hey,
then
I
his
don't
gameplay.
know.
8-0
Super
on
buzz
Hoodwink,
area.
it is. Yeah, insane.
Yeah, most of them are doing pretty well, as we could also, of course, get a very meme scoreline in the 3-2-2 if the BB squad team could get another kill onto the board.
That's one thing we can look forward to in this game as BK
Slara le pega.
Okay, smoke purchase.
ကဲနောက်10မိနစ်လောက်နေတော့ပွဲကတော့ပြီးတော့မှထင်ပါတယ်နော်
Big reveal here
အဲ့လောက်တော့
on the Orchid. Maybe
မ
surprise.
ကြာတော့ဘူးဗျ
Yeah, they're going to need a lot more than that.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the problem is you have Tombstone to save. As
The
we've already
Rufus.
seen, Miera looking for the opening onto XM. Y is there with the snowball, doesn't mitigate that much damage. Healing up nicely.
Yeah, BKB.
Necrophos.
စေးလာနေပြီစေးလာနေပြီစေးလာနေပြီစေးလာနေပြီ
Into the crush. Goodbye XM. Goodbye Y.
Ne maro,
Double kill
wag
from
ulo
Miera
tilay
and
biya.
Beach Ball team. They're going to get... I mean, this is absurd
They're
levels
getting
of play
everything.
right now.
Just say it as
We
it is.
missed the 3-2-2, by the way. Really unfortunate.
There was like a 2-second window
Yeah.
because XM he doesn't seem like a hero at the moment. It is so difficult for him to play into these dire heroes. Too many problems. Magic damage, physical damage. He needs a Manta. He needs a Shiva's guard. He needs travels, and you don't have the space to farm the gold. Let's see who gets godlike first this game from the BBD Babidi squad. Probably safe. Wouldn't mind seeing him rack up another kill here on the Hoodwink.
Looking for another connection here. Miero heading to the north, which is actually where Shiro is, but he's able to TP out in time. The fact that they're even close to this is kind of crazy. I mean, just no space at all for Vici to find any levels of farm. And Black Bear team.
ပရမင်းစပီလည်းမရှိ
speaking of
ချရ
the
အောင်လည်းမနိုင်ဘူးအဲ့တော့ဘာလုပ်မလဲဆိုတော့
and this is when
ဟိုလျှောက်သွား
things
ဒီလျှောက်
start to
သွား
get
ပဲ
even
လုပ်လို့ရ
crazier,
တော့
because they've been doing this. We said literally the same thing yesterday. They've been doing this mostly without this lone druid.
Yeah, and honestly, their base push later, like if they want to force, they absolutely can. You have the bear, you have soul rips, you can drop a tombstone, you have a solar crest on safe, who's currently queuing up a Vlad as well. You know, just all the little types of buffs and armor and physical amp you can pump into your bear. Let's see what Vici are up to here. Looking for a smoke. But overall, BB team have done a very good job when it comes to the map. Like, only giving up 3 kills, it's not like VG aren't looking for them. They have a Winter Wyvern with an Orchid, a Tusk with a Blink Dagger, and a Desolator on their Klings.
Well, they might run into the bear. Can they even kill the bear, though, is the question at this
Well, they can try, but if there's any counterplay...
It feels like they would need to expend a good amount at this stage of the game, and you can just resummon it. Like, you're not really gaining that much.
ဒုတိယလိုရှင်မယ်နော်စောင့်အောင်ပါပဲ
There's a big chance that VG might just
Bobby
wait
dog.
for the BB squad
Hey,
to
hey,
actually overplay onto them.
ဟုတ်တယ်ဟုတ်တယ်ရှီရို
Shiro can look for him.
The real hero
ရှီရိုလုံးလုံးနေပြီ
might not look like a real hero with a single branch in his inventory.
အားရအောင်လာတက်တာမဟုတ်ဘူးကွာ तू ကထွက်ပြေးနေညာရောက်လာတက်တယ်ထင်နေတာ
Just respawned around his bear. So potentially knowing,
Look at this
okay,
farm speed. That is impressive. Do you think he's even looking at that hero?
honestly, it's at this point, like Lone Druid has to be one of the best farmers, and like Naga, Siren, Alchemist, and all of these heroes. I also like that you can just get like the same neutral item with the same enchantment. Like Nimble Serrated Shiv is incredibly good to farm.
Yeah.
So of course the rest of the boys in the team will, you know, rack up their greedy enchantments. So Blink on Jin Q is what he currently is eyeing up. You also got a Blink on Y, so you at least are getting a little bit of mobility on the supports here. I mean, I wonder what Bach is gonna buy. He's saving a lot of gold on the Beast. Maybe just like a straight up AC. I think that could be quite good. Like try to just overwhelm them with minus armor on the Deso and the Beast here.
And not often you see somebody with 4k gold in this position.
Yeah. Just goes to show that, you know, you have to find those moments and opportunities in the game to be creative. Maybe find some of those items that in other games you would
ကဲ
never
လူရှင်တော့ပေါ်ပြီ
entertain buying
လူ
in
ရှင်
this
တော့ပေါ်ပြီ
position, but
ငယ်
maybe
ချင်း
here
တို့
you have
အန်လိုက်ကြမယ်အန်လိုက်ကြမယ်
And
ချိန်မဆွဲဘူးဟုတ်လား
you can see BB team just
နောက်မှာစောင့်နေတဲ့
picking up the
participation နဲ့
rotation
ရန်တက်စတဲ့
they
ရှိ
want.
တယ်
And then that's when they're
That's
going
a
to
bear.
roar onto the bear. Might be able to get life number 1. They
ရော
will
ပြီးတော့
not.
တေးလားဆိုတော့တေးလည်းမတေးဘူးဟေး
That's the stakes that Vici Gaming are in right now.
Time to
In
go.
fact, they're just going to go blow up the Clinks instead. That is what a kill looks like.
အဲ့တော့
BB
အာ
team
ရ
not
ပတ်ရှော့မှာလား
The puck with the Orchid to fall. It's a lot of
Oh,
damage.
sure,
The
sure,
Eagles gonna
wow.
dodge the snowball as a result. The Tusk just drops as a random
သူကသူနေနေတဲ့ဝက်ကိုသွားပြီးတော့တာဟိုကမှာရူရှင်လုံးဖို့တော့ပဲစိတ်ထဲရှိတာ
Just continue the pressure here.
They are kind of just owning through this entire map, right? Like, Bach couldn't really connect, like, XM as well. I don't even know if he really looked at this play. He's just, you know, staying in the top lane, trying to farm up, waiting for a better opportunity. Definitely a bit of a misplay earlier, not having any detection against the bear, and then just getting counterplayed.
They're doing this without Aegis. They realize how ahead they are. Gonna force out the fortification.
Well, you can try to force them all to base and then still play. You can play for Roche anytime you
တို့က
want
ဝက်
here.
ကြီးက BKB ရတော့မယ် BKB ရရင်ဝင်တာတွေပဲတိတ်ကြောက်ရတော့မယ်အကောင်တော့မဟုတ်ဘူးကောင်း
Which has been the thing I've been most impressed with BB team is they don't really throw leads all too often anymore. If you go back, I mean, I know the roster has slightly changed, but even just GPK alone,
ကဲလာချပါပြီ
they
လာချ
have
ပါ
the
ပြီ
propensity to do so like no other team, I feel like.
Now, these guys have all improved massively, not just individually, but I think as a team. And not just gameplay-wise or like your, you know, the skill. It's also like the mentality and what you're working on, what's important in the game. When is the last time Vici got a kill in this game? Like 10, 15 minutes
It's
ago?
been a hot minute. And even the bear will count that as a kill at this
True.
point in the game.
ကဲရော
This
တော့
could
မ
be
လားလူ
something.
ရှင်
This could be an opening for Vici.
They are
Slowly take
smoked
up
up.
the board.
You can see GPK popping the smoke on a couple members, and BB team going to play it a little bit safe. Wait for Ricci to make a move, potentially. Still not in any huge hurry. Don't want to take any chances for the bucket barfing team. 19k lead with the smoke.
Oh, good stun. Well, Vici should be happier if Roche ends up going to the top side of the map. I think maybe if you want to like play with some buybacks or do something. We have a smoke on smoke action. They are dodging each other for now. And need to see where Vici go here. Are you going to go through the gate to like end up top? Are they just waiting for some
ဟိုဘ
tormentor
ပတ်လိုက်
play?
ဒီ
So
ဘ
they
ပတ်
can
လိုက်
go
နေ
all the way
ဟေး
around?
ဘယ်ဝိုက်ညာဝိုက်တွေဝိုက်တာ PG က
Well, Roche
တွေ့ပြီတွေ့ပြီတွေ့ပြီ
Go to the top.
အာရရချက်တဲ့ထိုးတယ်ရော
Double tap onto Y. Holy Jesus, this is absurd.
လိုက်မလားဟုတ်ပြီဟုတ်ပြီဟုတ်ပြီဟုတ်ပြီ
They get the coil onto the single target.
အိဆန်ကိုမိနေပြီ ဖတီးကိုရှာဖတီးကိုရှာဖတီးကိုရှာအေးအမဖတီးကိုမိပြီမဲဖတီးရောင်အေးခေါ်ရင်ခေါ်လို့ရရင်နော်အေးအဲ့ဒါပြောတာခေါ်ရင်ခေါ်လို့ရရင်နော်သိပါတယ်မင်းတို့ဂိမ်းပွဲလောက်ခက်ခဲနေမင်းတို့မစောကျင်တော့ဘူးလေဆိုတာ
remotely close.
No, that is a very unexpected stomp. Like from what we've seen from Vici in the last couple days, they look so good. But here, I have to say, I think there's a big outskill going on because I didn't mind the draft at all. But GPK putting on a show, you know, the whole blockbuster team here kind of just showing up together, winning all their lanes, perfect movements, giving up only 3 kills in 30 minutes. And I think XM, he got outskilled in his mid lane.
ဂိမ်းတူးလေးစောင့်ရင်
See the highlights. See if there's a single
7 မိနစ်
kill
လောက်
from Vici
ကြာအောင်ပဲ
Gaming
ဗျ
on
အဲ့
that.
ဒီပြန်လာပါမယ်နော်
Yeah, hard to watch if I'm being honest.
ကင်မရာလေး
From the BB team
ပိတ်
side.
ပြီးတော့ဂိမ်းလေးတော့ဖွင့်ထားတ
for
ယ်
GPK,
Godlike on the
8-0
hoodwink.
for Miero, and 9-0 for the support hoodwink, Mr. Save. Absolute beast mode activated for him.
Not just getting some kills, and this is one of the signs of like a top tier team. They get an advantage, and it gets more and more. One small play leads into the other. They do well in the off lane, save TPs to the top lane. They get a kill there. Somehow GPK is overplaying in the mid lane, and it's all just leading into the next play. One of the more clean wins that I've seen in this entire tournament.
There's a kill for Vici. That was 33% of their kills. That was a 5-second clip.
That was the second kill at minute 7. In the next 25 minutes, they got 1 kill.
Yeah.
1.
Oh my god. Haven't seen destruction like this in quite some time.
Not just making perfect use. And this team has been scary. It happens at a lot of tournaments where BB teams just get, you know, a little bit underrated, a little bit underestimated of overall how good they are. Oh, you know, they're going to get top 4. Someone's going to tilt. Not today, son. Not today. They're showing up in full force. That was incredibly clean.
Yeah, I mean, they've looked as good as anybody in this tournament, and they've been, I would argue, to be the most consistent team at the tournament overall. So on some level, can't be that surprised, but to the level, like 30-3, I don't think we're going to see that again this season. I hope we don't, Cheever.
Same, absolutely same. This was, I think, the biggest stomp we've seen on this stage thus far. Wow. And as also not entirely what I was told by my panelists. I'm here at BSJ and 7. I was told it's going to be an even game. It was going to be 50-50. Wow.
I mean,
Not.
I was pretty hopeful for the draft, but I think you know what we mentioned, like the execution in the laning phase and what happened after the laning phase, like they knew they were going to be walking a thin line, and I think they definitely slipped, you know. Like there were a few moments where you're like, okay, the test is coming, you know, can they weather the storm? Can they like dodge this fight? And I think they didn't. Like, obviously, massive props to BB team. I think they played a stellar game. It was pretty much perfection from laning phase execution to applying pressure to rotations. They played extremely fast, deadly moves. But I also feel like Vici Gaming, like I don't know if you agree with that, Brian. Like there were moments where you're like, maybe they're not warmed up or something. Like it felt a little bit sloppy at times.
Yeah, I mean, I always try to teeter along the lines of explanations versus excuses. There is no excuse to, I think, show up like that for Vici Gaming, and I think, for me at least, there's a level of disappointment because of how well they've been playing throughout the last couple days. They did show signs of what we just saw in the group stage, and that was why I thought they might go out a bit earlier, but then all of a sudden the vibe seemed there, the execution was there against top-tier teams. It's not like they haven't been tested throughout the course of this playoffs, but that probably also makes me want to tip my hat to BB team for they've done this to other teams as well. So there must be something special about them. I think for a game like this to happen in a series with 2 teams of this caliber, one team does have to step up while the other team has to step down, at least a little bit on both directions. And I do think, man, that was a clean game from BB team.
And you know, it might be a bit surprising, but it doesn't worry me as much as like a fair loss would have worried me. I'm not saying this was unfair, but it's like they didn't get to play the game. Like there was a point where after they made several mistakes in a row, the game is literally unplayable. I feel like at this point it's like you need BB team to make a mistake or to overplay their hand, which we know this is not the team to do it. Like this team knows exactly what the limits are. Like they push the aggression exactly to the point where it's supposed to be pushed, and they don't take a single step forward, like beyond that line. So in that sense, I feel like Vici at some point it was just too much, and the game was going in a direction that they couldn't stop anymore. So like I wouldn't count them out for game 2 is what I'm trying to say.
a flawless game for BB Team. On the other side, I do want to, I mean, okay, we can be critical on Vici Gaming, of course, because we are expecting a higher level of play than what we saw. But the reason it was this one-sided is because BB Team, they don't make mistakes. They don't allow you to come back once they got a good lead like that, and especially not with the draft they had as well. And I think that just has to credit how well they were playing, Brian. Any player in particular you'd like to highlight?
I want to highlight Save, especially. We were talking about like the pace of BB Team's draft. Slardar wants to farm it up. Puck wants to farm it up. They all, Lone Druid especially, wants to farm it up. All three of these heroes need a little bit of time to come online. And yeah, as the casters were reading off those stat lines, 9-0 on a support Hoodwink, it felt like he was a part of so many of the crucial engagements and like the early to mid game that allowed BB Team to snowball. And there's just something about players like Save that are just always in the right place at the right time. And Hoodwink's an example of a hero that, yeah, she has burst kill potential, but she's so much about catching people off guard, flanking them, and there are a lot of instances of that in this game, and hats off to him. But yeah, obviously the rest of BB Team performed great as well.
Yeah, they really did. Now, we talked about how Vici Gaming underperformed BB Team. Incredibly strong. We've got examples of both of those situations, starting with the unfortunate underperformance for Vici Gaming, I believe.
Yeah, so we were talking about it before the game started, but this is a clip of Vici Gaming basically making the type of mistakes that we can't afford to make in a series like this. So they get the curse off really nicely where the Lone Druid Bear is going to be hitting GPK, but then right after, Bach roars, which then not only layers the stuns, but also knocked the bear back so that it wasn't attacking and killing GPK. This is only a 3K lead at 13 minutes. We've seen plenty of games stall out from this moment and the team can level it out, but that did not happen in this game because it plays like that.
As you showed, I think like this was a kill on Puck. Like honestly, it would have been the biggest kill they got the entire game. Literally.
Yeah, it would have been like step one to making this a much more even game. And then you mentioned like stepping it up for BB Team. This is one of the coolest plays that I've seen throughout this entire tournament. So as we're going to get to the Roshan, I'm going to pause in just a second here because it takes a sec. Okay, so at this moment, every team in the world has like this idea of when the enemy kills Roshan, they're then going to be traveling across the map and looking to kill us afterwards. But BB Team's going to do something really cool where they're going to pause, they're going to have Miero leave, and then Kiritich is going to wait to kill Rosh. He's literally just AFKing, so you in their head, Vici's like, oh, they haven't left the Rosh pit yet. But no, Save has already left, Miero's already on his way, and Shiro then gets caught out of position. So for me, this was just such a small but like cool idea that I've never witnessed, the intentional stalling of killing Roshan, and those type of plays are them stepping it up where that creativity in that sort of situation is quite unmatched.
Yeah, that's the team that's vibing. I think these are signs of like a team that is just like so like on, you know, synced with each other's where like it's really quick. It's like, hey, you know, like you know, second wait, you know, we were not ready to catch, they stop, they pause the rush, they kill. Save is using chat wheels, you know, because he's also feeling, it's the kind of play that leaves you feeling really good. It's like, oh, we're really on top of our game right now. And yeah, you see the difference between them and Vici Gaming in that game one, where like things that usually should be executed properly and that they have executed better than average, like they have been, you know, stellar with their plays yesterday. Rough start to the day, you know, warm-up day, wash your face kind of situation. I don't know, but this is definitely it can happen, you know. They're gonna pay the price of now being put, you know, back against the wall, one game away from getting knocked out. But they kind of did this to themselves.
Yeah, I wonder if it also changes in our perception when we see Vici Gaming. Overlapping stuns is like, it's a base level mistake, right? On one side, if you're gonna try to play better, it's the little things that you do right, meaning don't overlap stuns. You know, it's a basic concept. Whereas on the other side, the example that you gave, right, it's the little things not just done right, but done methodical and very promising. The difference in the one mistake versus the one good play feels very large, and I wonder if that worries us or should worry us.
Yeah, I mean, I am worried in the sense that, you know, the point of showing those clips wasn't like Vici Gaming bad, BB Team good. It's meant to, like, it does give you a glimpse into the mindset. Like you said, that you have to be a team that's vibing if you make a play like BB Team did at the Roche Pit. I also think you have to be a team that's a little bit nervous, a little bit chaotic in the comms to make the overlapping of stuns that they did. And I think that tells a pretty telltale story of that game as a whole, just in those two clips.
I mean, to me, it's like showing the misplays, and I would even maybe show the misplays to my own teammates with a smile in a sense, because like it's just to realize, hey, like this game doesn't count, if you know what I mean. It's like if we're not able to kill heroes we're supposed to kill, we create that situation, we're clicking our spells wrong and the heroes aren't dying, well, it's just an off game and it happens. It's like, why would you keep that game on your mind going into game 2 instead of keeping the series versus Falcons, the series versus 1W? Because I can promise you that to knock out both these teams, they had to make not only just stable plays, they had to make exceptional plays. So in that sense, you know, an off game, it can happen. You know, it's behind you now. Just move on, reset. Remember how good you are, what brought you here in the first place, and you know, get ready for game 2. Simple as that.
Yeah, we're really hoping that it is indeed an off game, not an off day. And we'll see if VG Gaming can strike back in game 2 of this best of 3 in the semi-finals. So it is incredibly important. And VB team, of course, one step closer to those grand finals tomorrow. Before we get to game 2, though, we are gonna check in with a couple of players who are doing the Remco Power Rankings.
Hello everyone, this is Seb. I'm joined with BZM and Ari. There's been many rosters in OG. It became a joke at this point. We're gonna remind ourselves some of them and we are gonna rate them on the tier list. I suggest we pick one of them up and we'll say who's on that team and we rate. What is that? TI 2021 OG.
I remember that.
Okay. What rating would you give this one?
I would give it an A.
You would give it an A?
High?
They were closest to beating Team Spirit.
We were 15k lead on them.
And they had insane strats.
B is fine, yeah.
You agree
Fine
with
for
B? Let's agree on B.
Yeah, B's fine.
Another one. What are you choosing? EWC 2026 OG. Well, what do you guys think? I mean, they didn't make it out of the group, so it cannot be high. I do think the potential, if I had to rate the potential, I think it could be B, I think it could be A.
Whoa, C or D?
We can do C. Results matter. No result today.
OG.
Okay, OG.
Too old for me, it's on you.
Moon Meander, Miracle.
Miracle, No Tail, Moon Meander, Crit, and Fly. This is like the Frankfurt major winners.
At least A.
It will be an A.
Of course.
All right, one more. TI7 OG.
I mean, I would put them lower only because they're competing against Miracle.
So they go on A, one tier below. That's it. Wait, 2020 OG? What was that even? That was with Saxa?
Mid one, Thompson, Sep, Saxa.
Okay, that's the LA major. I'd give it a C. I'll pick 2024 or too early.
Yeah,
That's ours.
it's that one, yeah. Of course, we don't have any wins to our name, but I do think we're better than the ones below it.
You know what? I'll put us above. It's the three of us. What are they gonna say anyway? They're retired. They're washed. Like, nobody cares.
2025.
Name the roster.
Oh, that's your choice. We have
Shad, Stormstormer, Mixer, Dayspeed.
Next.
Seb's not happy about that one.
2022. Wait, Yuragi BZM, Taiga,
ATF Misha.
ATF Misha. Yeah, that's a good one.
I mean, you stood in for one of the wins.
Yeah, I stood in.
But it was that roster.
You won 2 tournaments.
We did.
So that, you have to rate it quite highly for the 2 wins.
I mean,
okay.
A. I think that's reasonable. You got two wins, that was a good team.
We're missing 2.
Just put it.
So would you say this was the strongest OG roster, or it just got the best results when it counted?
In TI8, no. In TI8, this roster was stronger, and this roster was stronger, but this roster was more fit for pressure, in a sense.
And then
but TI9
it
is
was
not
just the
even
best
close.
roster.
Yeah,
You guys just persevered. The last one.
2023.
We had Masters specifically.
Why is BZM laughing?
So what were your results when we had Masters that year?
We lost in group. It's a D. Come on.
You just put it.
You guys describe it like very badly.
It
Describe it like it was a really rough one.
It was not good. But the thing is, I don't remember.
This is too harsh. I'll do this.
This is quite balanced.
I think this looks fine.
Yeah.
Well, great job, BZM. Thank you. A pleasure working with you, as usual. Great job, Ari.
Pretty good.
That was it from us. Hope you agree. And if you don't, well, I mean, not much I can do about it. Bye-bye.
He thinks he can come in here and play my game. He knows nothing. Let's go!
Tyler, why? you're done.
This ain't no regular thing. Came for the ring, you know what I mean. You see my name in the lights, better get right, I'm champion.
We were there. For every click, every clutch, every respawn. We were there for the years of grind. And we're here. Now. The proud founding partner of EWC. Powering the biggest event in gaming. Shoulder to shoulder with the world's best. Making history. Greatness deserves a stage. Lenovo Legion. Reach your impossible.
Vici Gaming versus BB Team Game 2 coming your way, and we've seen Vici Gaming as one of the teams that has made large adaptations from the group stage onto this semi-finals, but they need to adapt more now than ever, as that first game was not close. BB Team ran away with that one, and we're about to get into the draft of Game 2, and there's one elephant in the room that I must address, because both my panelists said, well, you know what, Lone Druid's overrated, and then he got paired up with an Undying. You can't let that happen, Seb, please.
I mean, I deserve to be called out. I disrespected the hero, but I'll stand my ground, Shiver. You know what? I'll stand my ground. I still believe Lone Druid is, you know,
yes.
This one is hard, huh? Maybe I should have backed off, actually. I'll reflect on that for tomorrow, but for today, I'll stand my ground. I do believe Lone Druid will not be the, you know, part of the first, you know, line of contested heroes for the grand finals, but we'll have to see. It looked absolutely dominant in game 1. Maybe I am completely wrong. I would be surprised if they don't readjust it for that game, though, because it must have felt that bad to play that game that you just want to play another game no matter what.
Yeah, when I was looking at the draft, like, obviously the Lone Druid Undying lane is about as scary as it gets, the Undyings and the SFs and all that kind of stuff, but the thing for me is I think that Slardar pick was relatively genius from BB Team. When there's been times, I think it's really important to note that there's times where people block pick, and we saw that yesterday from Nigma Galaxy where they block picked BB Team with a puck, because they didn't want GPK to get it on last pick, but they picked the puck into a shaman. So you're block picking you're making the sacrifice of basically picking a hero into counters in order to not get it picked against you. But they also had Slardar into Clinks, which is a very good matchup for Slardar. So you're simultaneously block picking while also counter picking at the same time. And I just think those sort of things will absolutely win you drafts on top of execution. I think the drafts were relatively even, but that was, for me, the highlight strategically from game 1.
Did it feel to you that Necro was like comfort enough for Vici, or do you feel like they were, you know, maybe like going for it because it made sense, but didn't feel, you know, good playing the hero?
It was really tough to say, because that one rotation at the 7-minute Wisdom Shrine where he dies, like, we talked about Necro being a vacuum of pressure in the mid lane, and literally one play like that can nullify that entire presence that you have. Suddenly GPK is like even with you on net worth, and so is that an individual mistake from XM? Is that a team misunderstanding of Necro? It's hard to say for sure. Like, if it's just an individual mistake to learn from, that's fine, but if it is like a team thing, then I think it did look a bit off, I guess would be my answer to your question, but I do think that one mistake says a lot about their understanding of the hero as well.
Yeah. Vici Gaming, they go back for something, you know, that brought them a lot of success yesterday, obviously, in the cuddle. And BB, I mean, they just, you know, keep on the Undying train. Like, they remain there. This hero has been incredibly successful. Like, every game we watched it, I don't think there's a single game where we were like, yeah, you know, this Undying really got countered, and it, because there were metas where Undying could also just be a burden. Like, it just does nothing. Sometimes it would even lose its lane, and then you're just there, and all you do is just like frontlining, dying, you know, eventually getting the tombstone off. It feels like a completely different hero right now. It's just so hard to deal with. Like, it starts with the laning phase, the early game presence. We've seen you know, wisdom fights with Tombstone. Like
Lagu.
Aldi is probably the specialist of this one. At every stage,
If
it gives
he
you
may
rush,
only.
also it gives you like objectives with the flesh golem. This hero is just incredibly strong right now, and I'm hoping that Vici Gaming will just put enough respect on it.
How important is it to have a tombstone hitter when you're up against Undying, even if it is a +5?
I think it's crucial. I think it's one of these heroes like Phoenix, for instance. It's like you just can't ignore that spell. You just can't pretend it's not just another spell. Especially now that they're willing to buy the shard early and abuse the save, which I think is like one of the best shards like in the game. So in that sense, I think you always need to have a tombstone hitter. You also need to be able to take down this Undying. You know, for free, we would say, in the sense like without using key resources, because he's not a core hero. But you know, we heard players complain about playing versus Undying, like we have to deal with 4 core heroes, because that's how it feels at times. Like he's just standing there in the front, and you feel like you need to click spells on him, but you don't want to use Necro ulti, for instance. You don't want to use like certain items or abilities, so it's tricky.
Yeah, there's usually 2 options, or I'd say 3 options for Undying. One is obviously be able to kill the Tombstone. 2 is be able to like force out defensive spells without committing. Like heroes like Hoodwink are a great example. Represent a lot of long range bursts that might need to be saved from before they even go in. And then you also have heroes like Storm Spirit that can go on the target and then easily disengage, and that's what I think they were going for, is this poke and prod disengage strategy. And then when you look at the counter from BB team, I think it addresses that near flawlessly. You have the Shadow Shaman that they already picked for save yesterday. The best, like him and Lion are the 2 best support disablers against the Spirit heroes. And then Ember Spirit, also one of the hardest heroes to disengage from. So it's like, if I'm Storm Spirit and I'm thinking my job is to force out a reaction and then disengage, what item am I buying? Like, I think BKB is the only one that addresses both of these. Some Storms in the past feel like they have to go for Greaves against the Ember Spirit in order to dispel the chains and the Spirit Vessel and the Mage Slayer. But in this case, I think already, I mean, Storm has not had good results so far this tournament. XM, signature hero for him for sure. And also now you have, like, but there's something about this draft, like obviously maybe it's a bit of bias coming from game 1, but something feels like BB has the better answers thus far. What do you think, Seb?
I mean, yeah, I see where you're coming from. They have some incredible heroes, like you mentioned it, like the Rasta versus Storm. There's the great synergy also between Ember and Largo. We've seen that combo really decimate like team fights. It's amazing. But you know, I'm a Coddle fan at heart, and like Coddle Storm is still like a menace in the early game. Like this Undying, this Rasta, like where they can walk on the map is going to be so restricted. It's like the second you're like a little bit too far away from a tower or like slightly out of position, you're just dead to Storm. Like you need your Ember to be with you and hug you all the time to protect you. There's also the Coddle TB, which I think is like one of the strongest Coddle combos. Like metas in the mid game, meta's gonna be up all the time. Like there's gonna be no downtime. This TB is like acceleration and the farm is just gonna skyrocket because of Chakra Magic, TB Illus like everywhere around the map, shoving everywhere into you with the threat of Storm Hoodwink attacking you and making you pay for trying to deep push waves. So I think the Vici Gaming draft, again, like so far I've been a big fan of all their drafts, even though, you know, sometimes it didn't really pay off. Like I see where they're heading with this one too, and it's quite interesting. You talked about Tombstone hitter. TB is definitely one. Like you think of TB, Manta, like he's just hitting down everything that's close to him, right? So this Undying will just explode, and the Tombstone will die, all like will get taken down too. So, but again, it's gonna be, you know, you mentioned it, Brian. Like they have this early game presence on BB, and they can cause a lot of issues. And could it be a repeat of game 1? It's not impossible if you look at the heroes.
And wasn't really up to the heroes in the previous game though, per se, right? It was also a lot of outplay.
It was, but it's like you kind of need to have the tools to push your advantage in a sense. Like, and I feel like they have it this time around again. Like Undying lineup, it can accelerate really fast.
What do we make of this Night Stalker overall last pick? I believe we've mostly seen it as an answer to the Puck. Is it as strong of an answer to the Shadow Shaman Ember?
It'll definitely make Shadow Shaman's job a lot harder. He is a support that relies on catching somebody, and then the difference between him and Lion is that he's channeling his long disable. So I see what they're going for with it. It is blind into Kiritich's hero. You're also against an Undying off lane. You're probably going to play some lane shenanigans. I think the cool thing about it is that once 5 minutes hits, you're probably not going to have too bad of a start. Like you're probably going to lose the first 5 minutes for sure, but then you're going to be relatively self-sufficient because most Undying lanes operate on chase potential, and obviously Night Stalker, one of the most innately fastest heroes in the game. Once night time hits, I'm wondering if he goes for like the carry to carry matchup counter, like a Phantom Lancer, for instance, for Kiritich, or if he's going to go more like shut down the Night Stalker and play out the momentum that they're already representing in the other lanes. Do you have a preferred approach?
I think it's very okay. He goes for something a little bit more active, I guess, with the Wind Ranger, which also is considered like a good matchup against TB. You just have an overwhelming amount of magic damage and you just take down the TB, especially with the help of like Largo, Undying. Like they have so much like sustain and save on BB's side. I like the Night Stalker pick. I think it synergizes really well with Vichi's lineup. I'm just afraid of the matchup versus Undying because Undying has always been considered one of the best Night Stalker counters in the game because of, you know, the night vision you get from Tombstone, and all of a sudden, you know, there's like zombies everywhere. Every hero, you can keep track of everybody. I also think that it's, even though Night Stalker is in a great place as a hero, there's like this Essence Distiller item, which I think ruins Night Stalker's game completely. Like, you essentially, they also have your vision, like the night vision, for 8 seconds, which is very unfortunate if you're an NS enjoyer. So we'll have to see. I think it's a risky pick. Like, it makes a lot of sense. It could work, but it's brave.
Ooh, it's brave. That is not really a convincing answer. Let's put it that way.
I mean, bravery is good, no? Isn't it?
True.
It's worked out for them, like with the Slark pick yesterday and stuff like this. I mean, I think the sad reality for me at least is I think there's potential of a rerun of Game 1. Like the snowball effect of BB team's draft is immense based on the heroes that they have. They have very similarly paced lineup, but if Vici can get past that first 10 minutes on even footing, I think they have a lot of good map play. They have the vision game from Night Stalker, and I'll just give a shout out. The Tombstone night vision got nerfed a little bit at some point, so it's not at least, maybe the Essence of the Distiller still counters you, but at least you have the vision. I hope you have the vision advantage coming from Vici, because then the Storm can also jump. And at the end of the day, I'm a Vici fan right now because I want a Game 3 in this playoff, Shiver, and we're yet to have one.
People.
I'm a believer. You know, you go back to the TI finals, you know, the watch your face meme. It's like, it started off this way and they brought it to Game 5 and it was incredibly close. So I think you got this.
We all want to believe, but let's find out if Vici Gaming's key will still be in one piece at the end of this one, or if BB will be allowed to crush it. We're heading over to our commentary duo of Sunsfan and Kezu.
Yo, 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 Sunsfan in the house with Kezu. What's up? Hey, that was not a good Game 1. We're just going to be straight with you here. I want to know, is that Vici Gaming's worst loss? Have they had a loss with 3 or less kills before?
I will check that out for you with our Lenovo Legion channel, which is important to note. Let me check that out, www.stupidstats.sunsfan asks for. They have never in their history lost this badly. Wow. They've always had either 4 kills or more. So GGing at 33 minutes with 3 kills, I'm expecting a better game this time around.
Oh, it literally has to be, unless...
it's not a given.
I think it is. We're going to see a better game number 2 here between Vici Gaming and BB Team. And remember, whoever wins this series goes to the grand finals. Loser goes to the 3rd place decider. Nobody wants to be there. No, that's the toilet bowl match. We'll be casting that, so it's going to be a perfect cast for us, at least.
Perfect cast, just right down our alley. But the thing is, you don't want to be in that position. You want to punch back here if you're Vici. I am a little surprised that they let Katomi have Undying again. For I don't know how many times this guy has played the zombie in this tournament, but he does seem like one of the best Undying players.
Yeah, it has been quite solid, and it's been a big move with the Wisdom Shrine.
Yes.
It feels like every single time it's this hero, regardless of the team.
Script.
Absolutely.
Minute 7, execute, walk to the Wisdom Shrine.
Malady started it, and well, Kataomi trying to finish it here, at least for this series on the Undying. We're going to see some new picks, though. We see Miero picking up the Largo. He's been, I want to say, one of the most consistent Largos in, I mean, since the hero's been in Captain's mode. I feel like I rarely see him have a poor game. GPK on the Ember Spirit, and Kiritich on the Windrunner as the carry.
both teams have a very good draft. I would assume that what Vici are going for this time around. So I like Caudle against Undying. You can kind of split the lane, right? You can always just push. Undying wants to run you down. Your super high movement speed yourself with the Caudle. And Caudle drafts generally don't play on high commit, right? Like what Undying is very good against. He has very good team fight with the Tombstone. If you commit, he saves. But Caudle has a lot of heals. He's very fast. You can like maybe bait the Tombstone, maybe go on someone, you know, back up your Storm with mana and keep going. So I like your approach here. Jinkyu though.
Oh, he's taking a lot of decay damage and the right clicks from Kiritich. That's first blood already going the way of BB team. Another good start for them, and they're against Bach on the Night Stalker, which is for me the topic of discussion. Yeah. Because not to sound like a broken record, this hero is either setting the tempo and getting you off to a good mid game, or it's just trash the whole game. Yeah. Which are we going to see?
I hope that we're going to see a good game. The good thing for them is though, like, and how Vici have won games in the past couple days is like early aggression and very good map play, right? When you have Night Stalker, you have crazy vision in the mid game. TB fixes your lanes, and Caudle deals with your cooldowns. And there's also a world, I think, where Night Stalker can build like a somewhat earlier shard in the mid game. If you get Chakra Magic, you have like double AoE on, you know, on your Void, which is quite good. But yes, definitely a hero that can be shut down early on.
I mean, where would you rate the Caudle pick versus other games? Because usually we see it coupled with like a Beastmaster. You talked about the Void. It's okay. Storm Spirit obviously quite decent just to get the mana back, and then Metamorphosis, which is essentially his ultimate, but not an actual ultimate.
I still think it's very good, right? You're playing with Storm and with TB, so you have two very good matchups there. You can see that XM is taking a lot of pressure. This time around doing a lot better though when it comes to the CS. Currently having a slight lead here on the denies. Shiro.
Shiro taking a ton of damage as Miero can't quite finish it. Nice bushwhack coming out from Y. Shiro obviously with, I mean, this hero picked because of the high armor gain that you're going to have throughout the entire game, but magic damage is a pretty damn good counter, and I'm looking at their lineup. Do you think that they have enough to burn through this guy?
Wind Ranger has a lot of magic damage quite early on, right? Once you have like Maelstrom or later with some Mjolnir BKB. Also, Ember Largo is a crazy good combo. Also need to remember that Largo amplifies a lot of magic damage, which is very good against TB towards like, especially in the mid game. So we'll have to see where Shiro can get, because later you will need an MKB this game to deal with this Heritage Wind Ranger.
It looks like BB team will get both Lotuses on each respective side of the map.
Well, this bottom lane is quite a disaster. I do think that is a adequate description currently.
I mean, they picked Night Stalker very late in the draft, knowing that you're going to go against Undying, which feels just bad. Like, is there something else I'm missing here?
So the thing is that obviously you don't have facets anymore. You don't choose that it's nighttime to start the game. And save just taking a little bit of pressure. So you're supposed to lose in the first 5 minutes. It's okay. The problem is there's a difference in losing and then there's getting demolished. And this currently is a little bit over the top. As of course also Kiritich had the first blood. As they are pressuring Bach.
Yeah, gets off the crippling fear as he runs, scurries behind the tier 1 tower. Still only 8 CS to his name thus far. Which Jinkyu, you can see, is almost the same. In this lane.
We'll need to see how they go about it, because Night Stalker will always give you a lot in the mid game. If you have other cores that you can play around, you're still very useful, right? With the silence and the overall vision you're giving.
This feels so bad for Faith Beyond.
Although creeps are going to be under tier 1 soon.
And they're going to be softened up by this Illuminate.
That's still a lot of denies. This is another couple of CS that he's... Because when you get when you play Night Stalker and it hits early nighttime, you want to be like kind of close to your face boots or like have some double bracer. But he only is getting his boots and he's on low HP.
Yeah, XM making a little damage here onto GPK, although XM is the one taking the brunt of it. Nice bushwhack rotation coming out from Y. The slide up fist from GPK. Is he now on the run? Jinkyu getting the kill there. But that means Bach all alone, which means that Kataomi can just go absolute ham on him. Another decay to his name, and should be able to finish it off with another. If he wants to actually dive here, yep, power shot from the far. Kiritich, beautiful aim. And that's just putting more pressure on Faith Beyond to try to get back in this game. It is nighttime now, so hopefully for his sake, he can try to stabilize his game, but this is an atrocious start.
Yeah, they can look for a bit of counter pressure now potentially. Jinkyu though, very aggressive to kill the courier.
Yeah, he's just dead. Straight up dead. Tombstone plays from Kataomi, so Faith Beyond gonna get some solo XP, but we'll see how much he can do with this nighttime being on his side. I actually wish that the facet,
That it just starts?
It just started with nighttime, yeah.
Yeah, maybe like...
Oh, that's big. He gets the tombstone.
Yeah, definitely big recovery, but I have to say that the battle bots in the bottom lane are getting way too much. Like some of the kills they're getting. It also means, again, when you have such good a laning stage, your Undying can move around. You can also look into the triangle. You're playing against a Kato. You're going to have a tombstone later. You can potentially aggress into the triangle as well. Except even with the help they give him, he's not level 6 yet.
Right into the TP. They get the Hex into the Shackle. Is there enough damage with the Decay? Not quite. Searing Chains is there, and the Remnants actually are enough with XM. Still not level. He was literally 1 creep from 6. And that would have been enough for him to get away, surely, but instead, he has to make the walk back of shame. That is rough in the mid lane.
Yeah, and not just that. Look what GPK is drawing on the minimap. 6-minute active rune on the haste. You have Undying. You know the script at minute 7. It's going to be executed on the Wisdom Shrine. And Storm, he will not have a TP. It will be up like 5 to 10 seconds after the Wisdom Shrine is available. Can you ask for a better game on Ember? You're getting kills, you're getting first rune, and now you're dragging a wave into a double stack.
Yeah, this is dirty. Bleeding Blisters are off to yet another good start in this game number 2. Vici are going to have to find a way to somewhat stabilize, or else they're going to find themselves in similar position to the last game.
They're looking for their own pressure, so now it's important how do the BB squad react to this. Because if you know that Kataomi will take the bottom Wisdom Shrine on his own, you can TP everyone to the top side.
And they're attempting to contest this Miero inside. He's going to end up getting it for free. And Kataomi gets the other one, so yet another game where BB team get both Wisdom Shrines. And Vici, I mean, you can't even blame them. You have an offlaner. What is Nightstalker supposed to do in a Wisdom Shrine fight? He has to get back and
potentially, like, you definitely need to find a way to like maybe have, like, you want to aggress on one side, and once you can kind of see the idea of where are they bringing which type of heroes to find an outnumbering, because you are now gonna lack levels on both your supports, and both Storm and Nightstalker, they don't have the most damage on themselves. They need Hoodwink level 6, they need Caudal level 6. So this is very, very big here for the BB squad.
And are we looking at similar situation when it comes to the Roche? It looks like a worse lineup by a long shot than last game.
It's still on BB's favor, right? Undying will nearly, like, Undying and Slaughter are some of my favorite Roche-taking heroes. Of course, with like Ursa, Wind Ranger also quite good with the Maelstrom.
Yeah, GPK actually gets the regen room. Man, his timing is impeccable. And Bulbous Bison still able to get all these little trades left and right.
They are at least doing a very good job when it comes to Shiro's net worth. And honestly, the scaling for BG is not weak at all. I can see TB, you know, be the big guy in this game. If later on you get to stand your ground with like an MKB and hit into the Wind Ranger, you will of course do very, very well. And you have a Caudal to back you up. You're going to have the vision from the Nightstalker. The only thing will be getting there and then still playing into the Ember Largo combo, which is incredibly strong.
Heritage focus firing this tier 1 tower. Box still level 5. Not able to do too much. Will be pressured out by Kataomi yet again. GPK is going to join the party and ensure that this tier 1 does in fact fall.
It's the overall macro movement is very, very solid for BB team. While they're hitting this bottom tier 1 tower with a lane ward, GPK is moving over. He has a remnant in the mid lane. Save is sacking the triangle. And Miero is farming so safe. There's no counterplay on this Largo. Yeah. So everyone isn't able to do the exact play that they want to go for.
I wonder what Faith Beyond is thinking right now. Why did I pick Nightstalker? Who convinced me of such a thing? He does have his Dark Ascension now.
Well, he has always been a player who reminds me a lot of, you know, in terms, I would say Zai and him and like maybe Ice Ice Ice. These players are incredibly good with low net worth. You know, even though they're shut down, they're very capable of making correct calls, understanding one of the few openings in the game that you can go for.
Heritage gets opened up on by XM to get the crippling cure right on top of him as well. This will be an enormous kill for Vici. And it looks like they'll find him in the end. Nice shackle to delay it, but it's not enough. So Faith Beyond on the board with that kill. He's going to need a lot more. That came from.
Oh, that's the big one. And you still have Dark Ascension to play for any of the next fights if you want to. Yeah, this will be another active mid control. Right, like GPK is continuously pushing in the lane, getting the active runes. Haven't of course talked about the Miero Largo yet. Gonna need to get some levels up for the Crow to then help out GPK. Let's see if they can get this tower. You know, the threat of the Dark Ascension might be good enough.
And we have some action mid. It's gonna be a shackle and a free kill onto Y.
Our shop
BB team trying to finish it. Fortification comes out from Vici, but doesn't look like from our perspective they're going to try to defend it.
They are just taking the 1-for-1 trade at the moment. Of course, this is better for the BB team squad. They have a vessel flying out, which is great against the Caudal Heels. And once you take an early enemy mid-tier 1 tower, I mean, GPK already had all the runes. Now it's even easier. Very, very hard to contest that deep into the river this early on.
Now they group up towards the top for BB team, save level 5, so actually just hits level 6. Wouldn't be surprised to see the Serpent Wars place right here.
Well, to go back to the rotation you talked about earlier, Undying and Rasa has always been a very good combo. Right, you kind of, Undying wants to take team fights and Rasa kind of forces you to either take it or give up an objective for free.
Yeah.
So very, very nice support duo.
And Miero going to be going for the Meteor Hammer build as GPK forcing Y out. Has the Spirit Vessel applied. XM just slowing him up though, so can't pursue any further.
Yeah, it's not a kill, but look what he's doing on his own. Right, he's pushing back 2 heroes in the mid lane. He doesn't have any resources. This will mean again, active rune will be yours, and they're currently looking for a smoke. But remember that it is daytime, he doesn't really see much.
Yeah, now slowed up a bit. Shackle not going to hit, but they get the connection and they're going to get the easy kill. So yet another one for BB team. I mean, the lead is not growing that much in their favor, so that's good news for Vici. It's very, it's not reminiscent of last game at all, which is good.
Well, especially considering that they did lose the double Wisdom Shrine early. They are doing a good job. Jin-Q also now with the Holy Locket completed. Because can never count out a TB, especially a TB Caudal draft. More illusions, less cooldown on the Metamorphosis. So definitely eyes on Shiro and his net worth.
XM working on his Witchblade right now, and for Shiro, which we haven't really talked about too much, has his Yasha working towards the Manta style, so nothing too crazy. And it will be a blink first for Bach. And only a couple hundred out for that. I feel like that is when they need to really imprint something in this game, especially, I mean, Crippling Fear against GPK, that's probably one of the main reasons that they picked the Night Stalker.
Blink will be very good, but you do need to get some stuff going with that because it does hurt your scaling. You're not doing some Echo Saber that helps you hit creeps, you're not getting, you know, a Midas that helps you keep scaling. But once they have the Blink, they can absolutely look for a couple of moves, maybe with the Witchblade and the Solarbind combo.
Now we're seeing a smoke from Big You see the blink now picked up from Bach. See if he can put that to good work.
It's the 40-minute timing again. If Vici are available, I don't think their team fighting is that weak, right? You have heals, you have Dark Ascension.
Y is going to be spotted first. It's Dark Ascension uses. Bach comes in with a crippling fear. Looking to finish off Y. They're going to be close. Looking to do that. Like you'll find it eventually, but they get that Hex, and now they get the Shackle and the Focus Fire. Bach is dead. Chase now on to Shiro, already at half health. We have to play around a bit because of the Sunder potential. So in the end, the support actually did live, but again, Faith Beyond is the one suffering the consequences.
It was good counterplay, right? BB team, they were around already. There's so many people you want to stay on top of here as the Night Stalker. If you're not staying on Miero, he keeps giving them heals. If you're not staying on Kateomi, there's a Tombstone. You kind of have to follow save as well. But it did look like that was perhaps a bit rushed. They do need Shiro to be around, or at least a Solarbind with XM to dish out any follow-up damage. And this is a big moment. This is like 80 seconds on both Dark Ascension and Meta, where the Boba team can just go ham.
GPK has a Spirit Vessel going for the Mage Slayer next. And I guess we haven't really talked about the items from BB Team too much yet. Kiritich has the Maelstrom, and it'll be the full Mjolnir first from him. I love these players that just queue up like 20 items in there.
It's like the good old style. You just kind of know what you want. You can always just press whatever you want anyway.
And Miero opting for the Lotus as his first main item after this Meteor Hammer, so good reflection for the
Honestly, like especially against Solarbind, you can also screw around with the Sunder later, which they definitely may be needing. But Vici still very much holding on nicely when it comes to the game.
Tí ra
And
cú
I
còn.
do also like the Largo
Sang ám
mid
nhưng mà
ranger
cú còn
combo,
rồi.
you know, out of like a lot of carries, she dishes
Đó
out
là
a
lý rất là
lot of
còn
magic
nhiều này
damage,
mà.
which is quite good with Largo as well. Same with move speed.
Giá ra rồi
Another
giá
hero
đấy.
that uses it very nicely.
Damage room from XM. See how
Lavi,
aggressive
Lavi.
if they want to be here. I assume that
Which
the
play-
next
which
item
play
for
Lavi?
Bach is going to
And
be the
he
BKB.
try
Indeed,
to
that
land.
is the case, but he is just so underfarmed. It is crazy.
Yeah, he
You can
is.
see Jin Q is just shadowing him in the farm right now.
He is suffering. The only thing is that at least what is
Áo
good
bò
for
lì
him
rồi,
is that
không
his
để hàng
floor
mà
is a
phía
bubble.
vì
So
chia
you know
này này
the
đi quê.
net worth you're kind of lacking, Caudle can make
Áo
up
bò
for
lì
it.
xem gì đấy.
They're looking for a play around the mid tier 1. We'll find the observer ward. And remember also that they are, of course, playing with Night Stalker, so the vision should overall be in their favor.
Bach looking for an opening. Not smoked up though. Gonna wrap around through the
Thì
triangle.
meme là GPQ meme là ha GPQ tụi con này không ý
becomes an
tin
issue.
gì đây con là tên
It's a
mình
very
tin
good
gì đấy.
scan, but you can tell that, you know, while the game has felt like that BB are in overall control, Vici are currently finding a pretty good foothold on the map. They were holding the mid lane quite nicely, now a lot of top control, triangle control as well. And of course, anytime they keep scaling, Shiro may soon overtake Heritage here on the network department.
Yeah, Searing
À,
Chains
còn đủ đi, còn đủ đi.
into the power shot, more than enough damage
Còn đủ
for
đi là phí này.
GPK and company. I mean, beatboxing
Lucian
team
ta bị thế này,
again,
còn
8-2
mũi đây này.
advantage to start this game
John
with the
Stone
net
này.
worth, not like
Xí
last
để rồi,
game.
Lucian ta lui à đấy.
Vici, at the very least, are
Mày
keeping
cha
up
mày
in
à?
the farm department to some
Kìa,
degree.
kìa, toa
and
cha
a
mày
lot
là.
of it is on the back
Cha mày tay
Shiro's Terrorblade.
And they're going to use this
Đi luôn
opening
nhau đúng không?
to take out Roche,
Đi
which
luôn
then
nhau,
will
tay
help
tụi
them,
cha
of
mẹ
course,
luôn.
furthermore take the map. I want to see how Vici go about this, right?
À,
With Dark
ai à,
Ascension,
on này
you
chứ.
have most of your spells
Nhưng mà
ready.
on này u đi vào đấy.
And long fights
Chắc biết à,
could
chắc
be
biết à.
quite good for you. Caudle heals, you see everything with your Night Stalker. This is a big moment.
Smoke's gonna be popped. GPK's gonna run right
GPK
into them,
đi lại,
into the
GPK đi lại.
potential. Yes, he's gonna get crippling feared. Bach gonna get hit
À,
with the
dòng ý
tombstone
kia
to
đi à,
help him out.
on này
Heritage
ha.
already has the Aegis though. Pops right back out, and GPK's more than fine. Getting slowed up a bit. Kataomi with a nice decay in that
Ôi,
flash
bị
goal.
giá này ra đấy, còn mày
GPK
đi qua
completely
siêu được.
resetting. They might just leave Kataomi to
Thắt lại,
his
thắt lại.
fate, which is the death. But if they get out with everyone
kia
else,
chết
they
đi à,
just
on
auto
này.
spawns thanks to that innate. BB team still
Cái này nấu
relatively
thì má
happy
này
with this
ai
exchange.
qua đi
Vici
rồi
Gaming
thì
just
miêu
did
bị
not
rồi.
have the damage.
They actually got to squeeze in the Roche kill right before the fight started. And same with GPK, even got the remnant off the small lick out and the tombstone save. Let's see what Vici can get out of this. Honestly, if they get the mid tier 1 here as well, they should be quite happy with the overall affair of what happened.
The Illusion's doing quite a bit of damage right now, and looks like they will indeed clean that tower up. So Vici Gaming, evening up the game in terms of net worth. How much damage can the BB team do with this first Aegis of the game? Like, can they apply a lot of pressure, or is this more trying to get farm outside on the map?
Should definitely use this to close out the map a little bit, maybe a tier 2. I would say one of the first things on your list
John Abbey,
should
John
be
Abbey.
the Tormentor.
John Abbey
And
tay
then also
đuổi.
any moments where, you know, it's going to be nighttime on minute 20. If you get the Dark Ascension out of Faith Beyond, of course, it's always going to be a very, very big way and a very big cooldown that you can play around.
À, dòng ý nó còn. Nó còn đi lại mày.
XM coming to try to help out. The support has already dropped as Kiritich looking for
À,
the
yeah, yeah.
secondary in the form of Jin Q. Taking a lot
Ta
of
làm
damage
là
out of
được.
it. He does have to be
Ít
careful. Doesn't
tận
want to burn this first life of
Ý
Aegis.
ở đâu
Might
rồi
not
ra
have a
đấy.
choice though.
Đây
So
này, đây này.
XM gets the
Ui, nhưng phải này
trade.
ý gì này
Hoodwink
à.
for Aegis. Not the worst.
Absolutely not. They will take that. Jin Q was quite lucky there. Just before this play, he unlocked his level 10 talent with the Blinding Light mischance, which we'll have to see later. It's definitely something Kiritich will have to talk about, because he missed a lot of attacks in this play. It's like an 85% mischance.
Yeah, that's true.
Was a beautiful shackle though. Did have to give up the Aegis, because it kind of looked like initially maybe he just cleans up 2 heroes on his own.
Có chạm nào, có chạm nào. Khi
Onto the
khi
tier
mày
2.
cũng ăn được
Surely
kê ra
Vici
đi.
will try to
Ai
defend
cũng
this
nấu
if
đá.
needed.
Cái đó đây
It
gì
is
nhìn
not.
trang ngoài nào. Cái đó biết rồi, ai cũng nấu.
Only owner for Kiritich. Yeah, GPK, he does have
Yeah,
an
đi đâu
arcane
kìa.
rune at the moment.
Yeah,
But the 20-minute mark approaches, so Tormentor on the menu. It looks to be a free one.
While GPK is very strong right now, right, with the Mage Slayer and the Vessel, it's more annoyance rather than high damage. As Caudle always has like a pretty stale and slow mid-game around like the 20 to 30 minute mark. If it's a dragged out fight, you're
Xem mày hảo.
Anaconda. Ooh. How would you rate this shard?
I feel like it's okay. It's not that great. but it's you're happy having it. You can get a bit more scale, a bit more gold, push on waves.
50-second cooldown. I didn't realize that. That's pretty long.
I mean, I guess of course Kateomi already had his shard.
Yeah. I mean, it was either that or who's the third in net worth? Is it Largo?
Probably Largo.
No, it's GPK actually.
Yeah, honestly, the Ember shard is nice, but even if
chui
you don't
mày
have the
rất đam
items yet,
mê
it's not
với
that
channel mà
incredible.
bí này không là
Okay, 21-minute wisdom
Để
shard.
làm đi bà
Definitely
để
the
quá.
script that BB are looking for here.
Tombstone already placed. They're ready to
còn
go.
nhìn xoay lại còn nhìn xoay lại đế tôi xong chia cho dòng lục kê lumia rồi kê lumia rồi ai ơi này xong quay lúc vào.
That is way too much damage. They trade the Undying for a Night Stalker. GPK though getting pressured by Shiro. Quite a bit of damage.
Ê xoay lại con này.
Absolutely punished as Vici Gaming. They get more than 3 kills in this game. Already good sign from them.
No, incredible. Definitely a little bit of a misstep, right? Just going to the wrong remnant. But also Kateomi, walking in quite aggressively there, drops the tombstone. But TB, he doesn't care. And I think this is why eventually this can be a very, very good TB game. If you can just hold your ground, like at this point, you're not only going to shred the tombstone, but look how fast Kateomi dies here.
Yeah, I feel like it was just a matter of time before. I mean, surely teams are watching
the
the replays that BB team participate in because they're doing the exact same thing every game at the 7, 14, and 21-minute mark, it feels like. And finally punishing. This was a rare mistake from GPK. And as a whole, Bikini Bottom team lose this fight.
Well, very, very important here for Vici. They have a small lead now in the game. And I have quite high faith when it comes to their overall course because Bog, this was a fight right before his BKB. Next time around, if that fight happens again, with half HP, he can get his BKB off. And it's not that easy for the BB squad to stand their ground. If Bog goes in, gives vision to everyone, there's a storm zipping, suddenly 5 TB illusions and a meta is running at you. Maybe you save someone with the tool, but then what? It's not like they committed anything.
Yeah. Good signs from Vici. And the Aegis was burned relatively early into the timer, so there's going to be this kind of awkward silence, if you want to call it that, this awkward period in between. As BKB, who was that just picked it up?
Should be Bog. Right, he's getting it. XM also just finished his, so... And it's this type of game where in the mid-game it matters a lot when you think about it. Who's getting like more impactful items? You're getting a double BKB on Bach and XM, whereas if you look at... more defensive items, like obviously Pi can help you. The next item on GPK is quite far away. Same for Miero. BKB can be seen as a defensive item for it allows them to play so aggressively.
They have the Lotus now for Miero and the Shard, so crazy combination for him.
I definitely need it. Right now you have multiple Lotuses. You can also croak up not yourself, but also one of your other cores. And you need this influx of magic damage, especially against the Shiro team.
Feels like the first time in quite a while that we've been casting Breaking Bad team where it has been just snowball after snowball. And Vici definitely figuring something out in between game 1 and 2 here.
Yeah, definitely intrigued to see how the BB squad want to kind of deal with the state of the game. Because while TB is very strong and he will outscale a Wind Ranger, absolutely for sure, we've seen what a Largo and Ember can do. When they have a dragged out fight with Croak of Genius and they're just floating around, there's some catalysts, there's an abundance of magic damage.
Interesting.
Honestly,
I guess he would use that for a little bit and then turn it into a nullifier.
You definitely can. Evasion is quite good. I do feel like also there could be other items that are quite nice, maybe even like an AC, but I guess at this point, you can kind of just buy whatever you feel like is necessary. Gonna threaten the tier 2 tower. Looks like BB team don't really want to do too much about this one. And again, it's a TB Kato, so it's not like you're committing a hefty cooldown.
Yeah.
You'll just keep putting down the CD, maybe with like a 30 to 40 second downtime. If you just keep pumping it in there.
USC got baby.
Down a bit, which I think.
I actually
don't know if that favors Vici. Does it? 'Cause it's nice he wants to be active all the time.
As long as they're getting map control, which they are, I don't think they mind at all. He'll be fine. Sure, he's not like high up on the net worth, but again, I think we need to look more at the combo of him and the Kato, because Jinkyu has quite a lot of net worth in this game. He's got a Lotus, he's got a Holy Locket, now working on the Aghanim Scepter, at least for now. Hold some people more in place, give yourself some more team fight.
He's definitely picked up the slack as...
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's one good thing about having
They're already
a position
farming,
forward
yeah,
that can
just in
actually
pin.
farm. Coddle can... We've seen him as
တူတွေ
core,
ထုတ်လိုက်
right?
ဒီပေါက်တ
So
လည်းချက်ကရာလေးတင်
definitely
ပြီးလဲ
not
ဆိုတော့
outside of the
တူတွေ
norm.
တောက်လျှောက်
We know what Jinkyu can do with
farming
farm.
လုပ်တယ်
One of the goats of the post forward when it comes to using your network aggressively.
And Scotty online for Shiro, so he is starting
BK
to
အဲ့
pack a
မေးစ
punch
လီယာ
strongly.
တဲ့ဒီကာယာလေးရမှာပိုကောင်းမှာ
It's
သူ
like
မေးစ
now
လီယာ
he's
ဘာလို့
strong
ဝယ်ရ
and very
ကာယာ
tanky.
BKB
And mind you,
ဆို
you
ရ
know, there's a 20
အောင်
stick,
ဝယ်
there's
BKB
a
rush
follow
နေ
behind
rush လိုက်
him,
ပါဗျာဒါ
there's anti-team fighting with the Knights.
Kaya, yeah,
He
low
wants to
thing-
get all
low
the vision
thing
that you
out.
want. And I think killing this TV from full to zero is really not easy for the Radiant draft. You need to stick on that guy for quite a while if you're Curitage, and until you have a BKB, I don't see how that's going to happen.
Yeah.
ဝင်းည BKB ကိုစောင့်မျှော်နေကြတာဗျ
Still a recipe away for Kiritage.
ဘုံက
Will be a pretty early Roshan spawn. So while I think that Shiro is very strong now with this Skadi, rightfully so, right, use the TV with top network, when he gets his next item,
ကဲမ
which
နာ
is
မော
the
စစ်
MKB
တော့ဝိုင်းအဲ့
against
လေ
Full Range,
တော့ပါပြီးမှာလား
Kiritage
ပြီး
has
လို့
to
တော့မရ
pay
ဘူးထင်
a
တယ်
lot
ပေါ်
of
မှာဖား
attention
ယူ
how you
မြင်
play
နေရ
around
တယ်
this
ဖား
team,
ယူ
because
မြင်
if
နေ
you
ရတယ်
walk in,
ဖား
you
ပါ
are
သွား
dying
ပြီ
incredibly fast.
Another tier 2 is going to go the way of Vici Gaming as Bach going to
Ah,
open
bah,
things up
bah,
onto
oui.
the Frogman, has the Lotus applied, but they have the damage along with XM. Going to get the double electric vortex. Matters not.
ကြောင်
Bach
အေး
gets the
ရူ
kill.
ရှာမှာပြီးရပြီအဲ့ဖား
Vici
ပါတယ်
Gaming
ပြဿနာ
getting some nice momentum and fighting Brontosaurus team. Again, they have not been
Lucian
put in this
Mapia,
position very often in this tournament.
ဟောကန်
No,
ကော
not
င်းတ
really.
ယ်
Now,
ရူ
you
ရှာ
know,
အောက်
they're
ရောက်
bleeding a
ဟုတ်
little
လား
bit
အပေါ်
on
မှာ
the
ဆို
gold
ရင်
lead.
ပြီးရ
Down 3k gold. Can see also very nice wards overall from Vici on the map. One on the bottom gate, one mid lane ward, and this top lane ward that did spot up Miero on the start of this play. And when you when the map turns into this, it is incredibly annoying to play against this draft, right? There's all the maps are pushed in. If there's one Night Stalker seeing you at nighttime, the storm zips over just like that.
ရူရှာကူးတက်လို့မရဘူးထင်တယ်เนาะအတန်လေးအတန်လေးထွက်လာမှာမင်းတို့တန်
The illusions, Shiro, Demon Zeal. They're actually going to get another tower going their way, and this is without Roche on their side. Is that every tier 2?
Yep, absolutely.
Vici mounting a comeback after that game number 1 debacle. We can call it nothing less. 5k lead now. Looking quite good.
I feel a lot more comfortable, and I think it is how they beat all the previous teams. 1W and Falcons, they found like a nice draft with vision, overall map play. You have ghost push, and then like you abuse it to find a pickup into a team fight. Honestly, all eyes are now on the secondary Roche in this draft. BKB completed on Curitage, so you have a huge item timing.
Yeah.
ဟုတ်ပြီ
for the
MR
BKB
BKB
bounties
ပါ
out
လာ
here.
ပြီဝင်လာ
Whereas
BKB
Vici,
ပါလာ
if
ပြီ
they can delay perhaps until this MKB,
အိုင်း
I don't think they would
အဲ့
mind at
MKB တော့
all.
ပြီးဖန်လို့မရဘူးသွားမယ်
Of course, it is a little bit away, but you farm incredibly fast.
Yeah, the Radiance is not too far off for Bach. Just the talisman away. GPK going to run into the illusions of Shiro, reminating to the high ground. Won't find a target, though.
Not finding much, at least for now.
ခေါ်လိုက်ရူရှာခေါ်ဆိုင်လိုက်ဟုတ်တယ်
And looking into the pit, so Bilbo Baggins' team will try to go for this Roche.
I was going to use that one. I love that one. So they go for the Belch. I don't know if they're going to be around in time, because you definitely want to contest, right? You have Night Stalker, you've got the illusions to scout it out.
Yeah, it's going to be close. Vici
Dark
smoked
Ascension.
up. Very close indeed. The zip it from
Yabi,
XM.
Yabi,
Kiritage
Yabi.
gets the Aegis. Pop the BKB as XM does the same.
ASM BKB
Trying to
ပုံတော့
create
အဲ့ပြစ်စမ်းအေးအဲ့ကျတော့လေးကို BKB ဖြတ်လိုက်ဟုတ်တယ်အဲ့ဒါကိုပြောတာဖြတ်လိုက်
And Shiro takes a tumble.
တိုက်စမ်းတကောင်လေးတော့မလုံးနဲ့ကွာဗတ်တယ်တွေကလေ
Try to chase out the rest of Vici.
အာ
Although now they're actually resetting. Did they get everything? The Aegis and
ကောင်းနေ
the
ပါ
Roche banner as well. So everything
But they-
going
yeah.
away BB team.
Oh, they needed that. But this is all, sometimes you have to go for somewhat of the higher risky plays. I think if you're Vici, you're going to be highly kicking yourself that you left the area with so much distance between you and BB team. Like by the time you get close by, they didn't even have vision yet.
So close.
Look at the shackle that's coming up.
အေးစမ်း
That is so
Vici
pretty
School
from
ကကျွမ်းကျင်
Heritage.
နေစတော့
Yeah,
တော့ပြ
that's
နေ
the scary part of having these illusions next to you.
အဲ့ဒါ Blake က BKB မပါဘူး
A shackle
ဒီ
that
ပါတဲ့
is
ကျူ
potentially
ခံစားနေရ
game defining. So BB team punching back in this game number 2. The Hex into the shackle. Focus fire will finish it. Ernaconda, yeah, that's a sexy snake right there.
All right, it's Curitage definitely now, you know, with the Aegis, queuing up a data list can definitely turn around and kind of change the one-to-one matchup that he has going against Shiro CB.
And they should be able to get Tormentor, so that's going to be Gale Force for Curitage because everybody else has Shard.
Yeah, honestly, they'll be pretty happy about that. It's just nice, especially against all like the illusions, maybe push some of the people away. So Vici, this is you should know how you want to fight with a Night Stalker, right? You want to kind of go around, pop the Dark Ascension, and start the fight nicely yourself. You don't really want to be the ones that get pressured first. But I do have to commend BB team for finding such a moment.
Still, the network quite even. Vici Gaming. I mean, the top net worths in the game are basically interchangeable at this point between Kiritich and Shiro. And I assume he's going to have to go MKB at some point. In fact, that is the case now.
They will have to wait for it. It's the only way that you can deal with
the Wind Ranger. နိုင်နေတဲ့အချိန်မှာကျတော့ BKB ကို skip လိုက်ရတယ်။အဲဒီ skip လိုက်တဲ့အတွက်ကြောင့်မလို့နည်းနည်းလေးတွေဒါတင်းလောက်ပြန်ပြီးတာလာတယ်။အမေအခုချိန်မှာ BKB ပြန်လိုနေပြီ MKB ပြီးသွားရင်အော်ဒီကောင်လည်းတည်မှာပါခုနဥစားရှမန်နဲ့ဒီအမင်းရနဲ့ပေါင်းတဲ့တေးတာပဲ
Most importantly against the Wind Ranger. I don't think any of the other stuff is really that important.
ချက်ကြီးကကောင်းသွားတာဟုတ်ခုန
But it was a big deal because Kiritich was about to play potentially into a TV who had an MKB with an Aegis. Now suddenly you get to match the MKB timing with an Aegis of your own and a near full Daedalus.
Yeah, Peter, more now. No, chef you die by Peter.
Poke at that tier 2 tower as we see a smoke coming out from Bearded Beaver team.
Then you can on it. You win TV to hit
this will be the death of the old man and the horse.
See if they want to do anything with this, because in the meantime, Kiritich freely taking the mid-tier 2 tower. Might just want to wait out this Aegis. There is the MKB completed for Shiro.
A lull before the storm. It's only 13-6 in terms of the kills, so relatively low kill count. From League of Legends is like 5 times more kills than you're used to seeing, probably.
I mean, both teams are just playing a lot. There's a lot of respect going on when it comes to how the map is being played. Where can they pick you off? Because Vici, even with this kill deficit, just a very, very even game. Why? With the Glimmer and TP.
And he's out.
Okay, Simon. I'm a supremacy.
Against the Radiant Draft, you know, trying to squeeze people out of like a shackle or a chains or just
create
a little distance between their players and Kiritich.
Không lại là luôn. Ai em pháo á. Pizza. Các cậu BKB chi để đá mấy ngáo lúc mấy cái mana piệt mà. Mấy cái mana piệt mà. Yo, BKB tung ra đấy. Tìm là đi. Tu để picha của su. Ok, show qua bị ạ. Xin có à rồi nên lên. Chết làm cho hoa này quá. Chà bà đây là con ra rồi. Bà phía bù rồi lán dài đi đi qua là con này cái nó con đi đấy. Cái nó con đi phải ra rồi con không phải vậy. Là bà phía miền lán dài.
Boom Boys will definitely take that type of fight, right? Your Aegis, it was expiring anyway in like 30 to 40 seconds. And even with some very clutch heals from Jin-Q to keep Bak alive initially. Otherwise, Kiritich would have just maybe gotten out from, you know, scot-free. Had another incredible shackle onto the Shiro TV.
You know, he's been getting screwed by his illusions, I'll tell you what.
They're finding good fights, and this is while TB is at one of his strongest moments in the game. They're looking here. Of course, they kind of get Kiritich once nearly for free. But even so, he still has the BKB once he respawns. And you can see the damage from Shiro. Like, if Kiritich isn't, you know, careful here, or doesn't even land the shackle on the main hero, he would have died way earlier in this fight.
Yeah, both carries die simultaneously. Create that extra pressure, but in the end, the fight did technically go the way of BBT. Aghanim Scepter there for Jin-Q. I'm not sure if he had it in that last fight, but
I don't think so. No, we definitely would have seen it. The 7-minute script.
So another shrine likely to go the way. Into the grave. So 2 dead for Vici. And Bleeding Blisters team win another fight, and they're going to likely get this tier 2 in addition to that shrine that saved.
Even though you know this play is coming, like they just get a correct play going. Shiro didn't have the meta or didn't feel comfortable using it. I think he really wants this BKB before he's fighting. I don't know if I really blame him, right? Like if I'm looking at like the Radiant heroes overall, Ember now has an Agnum Scepter. He's constantly Croak of Genius. You have an Agnum Scepter on the Largo as well. A lot of problems to deal with here against the Baobon Terminators.
Can they get the full set of racks? 20 seconds for So it looks like they'll sacrifice it without the Night Stalker. So first lane to BB team. Control.
It is a big one. Also, if either team gets their sight on the active runes, there's a damage rune in the top area. And it's also going to be tier 4 item finding. And here is where a lot of illusion matches can also swing against the magic heroes. If you get a couple of catalysts, you get some timeless enchantments, you get some spell amp rune. Anyone on the dire side looked at the minimap, they know there's an amp rune. Yatoro would be quite disappointed if they will not go here to get it.
Yeah, GPK is going to snag it instead. Yep. Are you surprised that Shiro went for BKB so late?
No, I honestly think his item build was fine. There's a world where maybe you could skip Skadi and then you went for MKB, BKB straight up. I think where their game faltered a lot was the secondary Roche, where they had a 5k gold lead, they leave the area, and the BB squad just kind of got to fully attack them, win the fight, and steal the Aegis. Because I feel like this Aegis could have been his BKB until he completed it. There's the timeless Contrast Catalyst for one. That's Mr. Miero, who will be very happy about this one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this is, it's just the type of timing. 35 to 40 minute mark. Nice catch from GPK. Freebie.
Yeah, and Brown briefcase team. I've been in this position before, and we've seen them with these leads with. And again, we've said it many a time. They do not throw these leads very often. They still are. If this next Roche goes the way of BB team, it's going to be really hard to recover for Vici.
Yeah, because you have a Satanic from Kiritich as well.
Trying to get the shrine as XM coming in right on top of the Undying. There's a Will-O-Wisp onto the high ground, into the Gale of Force. Jin-Q now on the run, but Shiro pocket the BKB along with the meta, trying to run away, get caught, but it's not to be. Down goes the carry for Vici as the rest retreat in shame, and that, if it's a fast Roach, which it is, 20 seconds away, if they spot it, this will be a freebie for BB team.
It's still 1 minute where Shiro isn't even on the board. BB team, they're just finding the fights that they want. Miro has got the double lick talent, just getting Kataomi out of all the pressure, baiting them further in. And I do think that Kiritich got to skip a couple of item timings with some of the fights that they have won. Like earlier, this MKB timing, he matched it with the Daedalus. Now he's got a Satanic. He can stand his ground against Shiro.
And they still have the Serpent Lords. They're going to get the connection onto the Hoodwink as well. Miero gets that kill. They're going to get the tier 3 with the Arnaconda on top. And a second set of barracks going the way of BB team as they are in firm control now. GPK creating some annoyance for Bach and company. As Shiro will respawn here shortly. So bustling Barracudas, I think they can just go for Roche.
They absolutely can. I wonder if they would just hold the area maybe a little bit until they know, okay, it's free. Now they kill Roche incredibly fast. Yep, there you go. Get some Flesh Golem. Because they're just getting baited in like way too far. Like even like this full doesn't get to use it.
Everyone has BKB there. He cannot sunder anything. Just such a hard position to be in for Shiro. As we see Kiritich get another Aegis, they're going to have the Refresher Shard, Cheese, and Roche Banner. All the goodies. Maybe the most valuable Roche in the game.
You have a banner with the 40-minute waves if you want. I mean, you have only 1 lane left to go. Do you really have to wait for anything here? If you're the BB squad? I don't know if you're close to any items. You know, GPK has got a couple K gold. Can maybe buy out a full item onto Kataomi on the Undying if you want. It's close to the Lotus.
Octarine core being built for Miero. I mean, let's see if they're waiting for anything specific. I mean, he's pretty damn close to the Octarine, so they probably wait for that. 3.4K for GPK right now. Can go for a blink. As they're going to be able to take yet another Tormy. This one is only gold, though.
And this is where, if you're VG Gaming, you're going to have to come up with the plan and how you take the fight. Because this next fight could be the last one of this entire game. They have only one last lane to go for. Could see a world where you want to smoke up, go from the back line, you know, use the Night Stalker ult, maybe get some eyes on the Shadow Shaman, and also on the Kataomi Undying, who's incredibly annoying. He's got a good set there as well. Could even be the reason why he stays alive.
Octarine officially picked up. As we talked about, Miero super strong on the Frogman.
4K HP with the G's, Octarine core.
Now Kiritich actually opting for the Aghanim Scepter, so yet another power spike for BB team.
Why not?
Put the Roach banner down, and now the focus fire. This is where Vici have to stand their ground. Serpent Ward's placed as well as Illusions. Try to make quick work of it. Already the tier 3 tower is dead, though. Vici have to make something work. The Will-O-Wisp is just going to be cleaned up very easily. As Shiro just getting controlled from the back line. They're going to pop that fortification. Now a soft reset from BB team.
Already used this
from GPK. And that's likely the last glyph they're going to have this entire game. They don't try to defend here. They get the range barracks. The melee racks is now being focused. There's the Night Stalker ult. As now Kiritich just focus fire. They're going to get mega creeps. Not even defended at all.
Just indecisiveness. I think they were maybe hoping to wait for the status on Shiro, but yet now, well, you will have to play into Megas. There's no way around it.
That is shocking that they did not try to defend that. Felt like they were going to go once Bach popped that ultimate.
Just didn't really find a connection.
And with that, BB team can just wait for the mega creeps to show up in their base, or they can just go for a snipe.
Well, it's daytime without Night Stalker ult. This is very easy.
Why? You're dead. Zip in. Not a whole lot of damage to work with. They don't have any backup. They're going to buy back onto the Hoodwink as XM now getting focused by Kiritich. Will have to zip away. Very little mana to work with as GPK was forced to use his BKB and retreats. Going to pop the cheese back to full HP. The mega creeps haven't quite made it to the base yet, as the Urnaconda is going to be placed in between the tier 4 towers. Big zip to try to kill off the creeps to create some backdoor protection, but again, it's mega creeps coming.
This is a creep. You just stay behind your carry, you buff him up, you allow Kiritich to just keep shooting away. And he has not been missing this game at all on the Wind Ranger, whether it's the power shots, right clicks, or the shackles.
Looks like they're going to retreat for the time being. No mana on the Largo right now. I mean, they still have a minute on Aegis, so likely to just get some mana and get right back into the fray.
Well, let's see if Vici can come up with a better plan than what they had in the last fight, because I don't really know if there was that much of a plan. Perhaps, you know, there's a lot of pressure going on. You're 18k down, now you're playing into Megas. But at some point, you will have to come up with something.
I mean, they have gotten 10 total kills in this series. That's crazy.
And they had quite, like, their kill score wasn't that bad, like, early on, right? Again, fine. It's been a very quiet, like, 10 to 15 minutes here. As if you look at Bugs Bunny scorelines, 0-0-13 on save, hasn't even died a single time on the roster.
Yeah.
He hasn't died a single time in his series.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And that's against a Night Stalker Storm lineup.
Yeah. That's a yikes. As Vici, their last defense, but the focus fire now applied. As they're just going to call it GG's come out as BB absolutely destroyed.
These guys are looking very good, right? You see them in game 1, kind of stomping, not giving up anything. That this game, quite different. Vici look good. They look good throughout the entire tournament. Today, maybe not as much, but even in this game, they had a good lead. It was all about the second erosion. I think this is the important and good thing from BB team. It doesn't matter if they're ahead or behind. They kind of know how to just execute their game plan.
Yeah, it was.